Hi, how you doing? How you be? Tough to the AB. Wow, it's been a while since I've done a Saturday stream. So this isn't going to be a gaming stream. Typically, I do gaming streams. Half gaming streams, half talking about different topics. But this was actually going to be an Ultimate Black Friday gamer guide. I was actually just going to do this just like an actual video, but I saw no point in it. I figured I might as well do it live. That way, if anybody had questions, they could just ask. So if you have any questions about anything happening in Black Friday for any site, if it's talking about gaming, PC builds, components, graphics cards, CPUs, processors, I have a limited range when it comes to troubleshooting computers, technology, gaming, consoles, gaming deals, console deals, Nintendo Switch, PC, Xbox, so on and so forth. So if you have any questions about any of those topics, please be sure to put it in the chat. I will 100% see it. It's like right there. So without further ado, there are several different topics to discuss here. Originally I do have a Newegg Black Friday video currently up. So Newegg, I'm only gonna cover briefly because there's a lot to go on with Newegg. I'll basically cover the topics that I didn't cover in that video because now Black Friday is in full effect. So please bear that in mind. There are several Black Friday deals going. We have Newegg, Target, Best Buy, Amazon, Costco, and Walmart. Those are pretty much like the main 6 that most people care about when it comes to Black Friday. So we'll discuss them all and kind of go from there. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. Alrighty, so with this one here, we'll just start with Newegg because it happens to be the first tab that I currently have up here. So remember, if you have any questions, please be sure to put that in the chat. But with Newegg, okay, so the 7600X still reigns, well, okay, the 5600 or 5700X, wherever it went to, the Ryzen 7 5000 series 5700X. This guy still reigns supreme as being one of the best deals that I've ever seen. 7600X with $30 off promo isn't bad either. Let me see if it comes with free memory. It does not. Oh yeah, it does. So it comes with a 1 terabyte NVMe solid state drive, and that's an $89.99 value. So, I mean, it's not, okay, let's first say that for right now, it's not a $90 value. It's more like a $70 value at this point in time. So, but of course it is the 7600X, so it is that. So please bear that in mind. So it is the newest generation, which is DDR5, and it does give you a 1 terabyte NVMe, which isn't much to talk about. It's not as good as getting 32 gigs of DDR4. So that's the reason why this guy isn't in my #1 slot, but it is in the top 2. So it would probably be my second one when it comes to processors. It's really a good deal for 7600X. But remember, if you do go with 7600X as opposed to the 5700X, now you're talking about DDR5 versus DDR4, which is more expensive memory. Plus, you can't go 4 sticks. If you go 4 sticks, it'll be a problem on DDR5. Whereas if you go DDR4, you can still go 4 sticks. But of course, the RAM speed is slower than DDR5. So please bear that in mind. But overall, I think this is a pretty good deal. $35 off, so you're looking at what, $190, somewhere in that area? What is it doing? Oh, it's doing this. I'm sorry. So I was just like, is it tripping? Because I was seeing it in the tablet and it was throwing me off. But yeah, so we're talking about $190, still pretty good deal. And then you talk about $70 off with the NVMe if you have plans on buying a 1 terabyte NVMe. So then we're looking at about $120. Not as good as $80, but still a really good deal. Especially, if you're trying to get on the AM5 platform with DDR5, then definitely I would suggest the 7600X. Let's see here. We talked about processors. We didn't do power supplies, but I don't want to kind of jump around. So we'll do motherboards here. So when it comes to motherboards, let's see. I didn't really give motherboards much leniency. I didn't give it much credit at all because motherboards is kind of a motherboard thing. It really just kind of depends on what you're looking for. And then you get whatever deal is available. Like there isn't anything here that I've looked at when it comes to motherboards that just was like, oh my God, this is the craziest deal ever. So if we look at motherboards here, I mean, some of these M series AM5 motherboards seem to be okay. Excuse me, 25% off is okay deal. $100 is kind of where I look to. It's kind of like when I'm looking for a mid-tier motherboard for like, let's say just a mid-tier gaming build or a girlfriend build or something along those lines. And it doesn't need to be anything fancy like having multiple NVMe slots, mostly because I run multiple NVMEs for RAID, or if we're talking about editing or streaming, then I don't particularly go for those higher ends. Instead, I go for like a mid-grade, and $100 to $120 is kind of my sweet spot. So we'll use that as our testing ground. So $119 for this guy here. Let's see how many NVMe slots it has. And then also, let me see if there's anything else that looks pretty good here. AM4, because we have been talking about AM4, so we'll go ahead and grab a couple AM4s. That looks even better. And let me see what else we got here. This one is okay, but I already got 2 AM4s, so I'll leave it alone. And then let me get one more AM5 if I can find one. This is also a DDR4 with the $10 off. Okay, fine. I'll look at you too. And then AM5. Let's see here. Now I'll go ahead and grab an Intel because, well, okay. The reason why I wasn't grabbing an Intel because on the processor section, I only mentioned AMD processors. Intel has some pretty good deals too, but they never typically be as good as some of the AMD deals. Like, you know, you paying, you know, $119, 30% off. Generally, Intel is not that forthcoming with price discounts. But this one here, 20%, 28% off. Let's see what makes it so special. And of course, this is DDR5, so that'll work. So we'll look at some of these guys here. So B650M motherboard. Okay, you have one PCIe slot, you have an NVMe on the front, and then you have a PCIe X4 slot. 4 DDR4 slots, or yeah, this is DDR4, right? Yeah, four slots for memory. This is a MATX, so you're going to get 4 slots. I don't see anything particularly stand outish about it. Let's see here. Yeah, it's nothing special. 4 USB 3 ports, a USB-C 3.2 Type 1 Gen C, or USB-C Gen 1. So that means it's USB 3.2 Gen 1, 10 gigabits per second. And then we are looking at, it supports, I mean, obviously it supports Ryzen processors, but this is going to be an AM5 board. So that is a good one. So it's rare that we can get a DDR5 at 120. That's pretty, it's pretty okay, I guess is the best way to say it. It's not something that I'll like jump up and down and joy for, but if you are on the AM5 platform with an LGA 1718, LGA 1780, why did I say LGA? That's weird. But AMD B650 for the Ryzen series. I just want to make sure because it said B650 is generally a Ryzen series platform, but it said LGA, which threw me off. But yeah, this is going to be an AMD motherboard and DDR5 at that. So I would say something along these lines will be pretty good. It only has one NVMe slot, so please bear that in mind. For, let me see, let me make sure that it doesn't have one on the back. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it has 2. It has one M.2 integrated in the chipset supporting socket 3. Oh no, it says one M.2 connector. M2, okay, one CPU and one on the back here for the chipset. What's up, King Bryant? How's it going? And let me see, if we look on the back, does it show another NVMe slot? It didn't say it specifically, but I mean, when we look at the specs, it does say that it has 2 M.2. So I'm gonna go on the offensive and say that it has 2 M.2 slots, one in the front and one in the back. Which is, if that's the case, then this is a really good deal because you want to get as many M.2 slots as possible. Be sure that whenever you are doing M.2 slots, there is one with a heatsink, but if you're going to do 2, make sure you have that one in the back populated before you put it in your mother or in your chassis or in your case, because if not, then you won't be able to access it. So please bear that in mind. But overall, this is a pretty good deal, especially, you know, $40 off, which, you know, motherboards kind of go like that in prices. So it's not anything to write home about, but it's still a pretty good deal. Let's see, next up here, this is the same thing. Next up here, Micro ATX AM4. So this is the AM4 with a PCIe Gen 4 X16 slot. Make sure. Yeah, and then we have a second PCIe slot, which is pretty good. And this is still Micro ATX. It's rare to get a Micro ATX with 2 PCIe slots, so please bear that in mind. Like, the reason why you would want to do something like this is if you want a streaming card on the other, like an Elgato MK2, or some of the HD 4-port capture cards if you have multiple devices like Switch, PS4, blah, 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 or PS5 that you want to have going into your computer. That's why you would use that last slot. Now, it is a lot of room, or a good amount of room. The reason why you want to know this is because some of the 40 series cards are 2.5, 3.5 slot cards, and they can take up all that space. So this does give you a good amount of room that you can run a pretty decent beefy size graphics card and still use that bottom slot. That bottom slot can be, well, okay, it does show PCIe 3 X16, so you can't go like a NVMe slot with it, but I would recommend if you are going to use that, use it for like an Elgato or just any type of brand capture card for your PlayStation or your Xbox or your Switch or whatever you have plans on streaming, tablet, whatever, that you can use that slot for your game capture. That's what I would do with that particular slot. And make sure that if you are going to do that, make sure it's low profile so it doesn't get in the way of the fans of the graphics card. But overall, this is a pretty good deal too, especially when the fact that it gives you 2 slots. Now, of course, because of the price point, more than likely it's not going to have more than 1 NVMe slot. And I just want to verify and make sure before I say that. 1 PCIe Gen 4 X16, 3X16, and 3X1, which will never populate. It won't get a chance to be populated because the graphics card will cover it. But if we go down here, let me just go to, oh my goodness, where is did it just, what happened? Did it just not show it? Okay, I guess it's just showing this instead. Where are the details? Oh, here it is, specs. Sorry about that. So if we go to the specs on this guy here, we see one M.2. So yeah, we're not going crazy. So it's gonna have one M.2. It's not gonna have much more than that. So the 3x16 supports NVMe SSD as boot disk. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't waste that 3x slot 16 on SSDs, NVMe SSDs at that, because we're only talking about 6 gigabits per second. Just plug it into the SATA port at that point. So it's just not worth it at this. So like you wouldn't want to put an SSD right there. I would suggest just putting it anywhere on the case and then plugging it into these SATA ports over here in the front. 6 gigabits per second is 6 gigabits per second. I don't care where it's coming from. So if it says NVMe SSD, then I'm thinking 6 gigabits per second, which case I would just plug it into the front. So don't use that for an SSD slot. Instead, use it for a capture card. Alrighty, if we go to the next one here. So this is a Aorus Elite for $89.99. I do love the Elite boards because they have a lot of nice stuff going with it. This is also another micro ATX. So a lot of small form factor builds today. That's gonna be great because I love building small form factor. That's my favorite. I literally don't do any other build but that. So this is gonna be really nice. You got a USB 3.2. Well, you also have the white one is the BIOS. So they use that to actually flash the BIOS as well as having USB 3.2 ports. So that's going to be really good. You have multiple ports here at 2, 4, and then you have a couple USB 2, 3 gigabits per second ports, which isn't anything to write home about. But the fact that it gives you quite a bit of ports makes me happy. So, you know, you have your 5 gigabits per second ports here, and then you have a couple of 10 gigabits per second ports over there as well. And let's see here. Okay, same thing with the other one here. You have two M.2 NVMe drive, or two M.2 NVMe slots, one on the front, one on the back, is what this guy looks like here. So overall, really good board. I am very interested in this guy. Now, this one here is a little different because it doesn't have a heatsink going over the actual NVMe. Please bear that in mind. So you're gonna need a little bit more cooling going over the top of this guy. Not anything to write home about, but something to take note of. Because I mean, we're already talking about micro ATX. So if we're talking about micro ATX, you're gonna put in a small form factor case or a smaller case than what you normally would. In which case, I would say make sure you have a little bit of fan air going across the top of it just to cool off the NVMe. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go to the last one here in the motherboarding guide. Well, no, I guess we got one more. So this is a Gigabyte Wi-Fi DDR4 LGA 1700 B760 MATX. That is a lot to talk about that no one cares about. So we'll just go ahead and skip to the details. So this is going to be an Intel-based micro ATX motherboard. I just wanted to make sure. I was actually looking at it and seeing it at the same time. They have the same box, so it always throws you off. Now, you do get 2 PCIe X4 slots, which is okay. Most gaming cards actually don't utilize the entire PCIe 3x16 bandwidth, like the entire size of it. It actually just utilizes the X4 slot. So please bear in mind, you could still use a capture card on this guy as well, and you just put it on the bottom slot and just populate it that way. Now, some of these older boards like to take some of the bandwidth away from the main GPU whenever you do something like this, but it should still be fine because we're already talking about AM4, so it should be okay. And then it has a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-C front port, which is this guy right here. If you can see where my cursor is, it's gonna, well, I guess you can't because, well, yeah, you can. So that guy right where the plus is. So, and then it has, let me flip over to the back here. There we go. This isn't great. 3 USB 3 ports at 5 gigabits per second, and then it has 2 USB 2 ports at 3 gigabits per second, and then it has Wi-Fi. I mean, it's nothing to write home about. It's not as good as some of the other ones, but it's $99, so what can you say? We had $10 off promo, so it's nothing to write home about. It's just a decent motherboard. This one's great though. So this one is going to be DDR5, so we're back to DDR5 here, and this is going to be Intel based Z790 motherboard. So this one has a heatsink. Well, it has a slot for the NVMe, so I'm guessing it has some thermal paste or thermal compound or some kind of sticky tape that you can put onto it to try to get rid of some of that heat dissipation. It is a full-size ATX motherboard, so you have a lot going on here. You have multiple PCIe slots, and you have multiple NVMe slots, it looks like. It looks like you have 2 on the front, but maybe more than 2. Is that 3? Yeah, it looks like you have, ooh, this is really good. This has 3 NVMe slots, and let me make sure. Yeah, M.2. 4 M.2 slots. That is crazy good. Crazy good. I'll populate all of them because I'm crazy like that, but I've only seen this in some of the higher end ones. So yeah, this is actually really good. So yeah, I'm a fan of this one, but this isn't really for most people because most people aren't going to populate that many NVMe slots. The only time you would need something like that is if you're an editor. And if you're an editor, then yeah, by all means, for sure. USB-C on the back, you have two USB 3s, you have some USB 2 ports, 3 gigabits per second, and then you have a USB 3 port with charging, 10 gigabits per second, as well as a 10 gigabit per second USB-C port. So nice, very nice. Supports 12th and 13th gen Intel Core processor. Please bear in mind, this isn't the newest. I think the newest is 14th generation, but you know, Intel is Intel. Every version is only a 10% increase, so you're not exactly, you know, dying here. So it's Intel. Like, let's not get too crazy. It's going to be like an 8% to 10% performance bump, if that. Alrighty, so that's going to be the motherboards. I think I've covered that motherboard and CPU topic extensively, so we can go ahead and move on. Alrighty, so 15-1 Hada 03, what's up? Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and move on from the motherboards, and we're going to move to, let's see, memory. I'll do memory, why not? So memory is memory, no one cares. Let me just find something that's decent. I mean, they're all gonna be pretty decent. $10 off for 32 gigs of DDR5 is good at DDR5 6000. That's probably gonna be one of your best deals. It's very popular and is probably gonna be a pretty good deal in general. DDR5 6000, 32 gigs, and this one's shiny. So I would probably go with this one here because it has colorful, but that's the only thing that I would say about it. You know, if we're talking about just overall efficiency, this probably is a little bit better because this is, well, I'll take that back. Why is it, this is, oh, it's 64. Okay. I was like, why is it so expensive? 60, okay. And then the DDR4, this is probably gonna be one of your better deals. So this is DDR4 3200, which is, you know, pretty good RAM for DDR4, and the 32 gigs at $47.99 with $5 off, so $42, $43. This is an excellent deal for DDR4 memory. So I would say this guy here for DDR4, the Crucial Pro, 32 gigs, and then for the DDR5, I would say the shiny one, the $90 one. It comes with McAfee Security VPN with purchase. No one knows what that is, and I'm not about to sit here and explain VPN to anyone. It takes too long. Well, it's not really too long. VPN is basically if you want to create a tunnel between you and someone else that's secure. That's what a VPN is. And it could be you to a job, it could be you to another person, it can be anything. But that's what VPN is. But I mean, if you want that, you can get that. But that's not the reason why I'm saying this is better. This is better because it has colors and that's it. There is no other reason. They're the same RAM. So we'll leave that at that and go ahead and move on away from memory. Okay, GPUs. Let's go ahead and take a look at the graphics card. Someone had asked me about, you know, if the 7800 or 7700 XT was actually going to go on sale. Some of these ones really don't go on sale when it comes to graphics card, especially if they have no reason to, right? If the newest version comes out, like for example, in February when the new 50 series comes out, I mean, this is just estimated. That's usually when they come out. That's not me, you know, looking at some type of a leak or anything. So, you know, generally that will make the prices go down, but typically they don't go down on their own unless, you know, people aren't buying 100%. So over here, you know, we have, you know, 4070 ties. I'm not crazy about ties. Okay, here's the thing when we're talking about graphics cards, and this is where I'll leave it. When we're talking about graphics cards, if you are looking to buy anything that is less than a 4070, so 4060, 4060 Ti, 4070, 4070 Super, cut it off. 4070 Ti, 4080, 4080 Ti, or whatever you want to call it, and 4090. If you're talking about anything less than like a 4070 Super, then I'll go ahead and tell you, you can go ahead and buy. If you're talking about more than a 4070 Super, like you're looking at 4K 240 or you're looking at 2K 240, then I would say, I'm not sure why you would, but I would say go ahead and wait till February and see what happens with the prices, then go ahead and buy now. There's really not too much of a point. I would say 4070 Super is probably my cutoff. So just please bear that in mind. New graphics cards will be out in like 3 months, more than likely. So I'll go ahead, and because of what I just said here, I'm going to go ahead and skip the 4070 Ti, the 4080s, the 4090s, 7900 XTX. We'll go ahead and skip that as well. It's a great card, you know, but most people who are going after a 7900 XTX already know that they want a 7900 XTX. So we'll kind of keep it in the middle ground. So basically the $400 to $500 price point. So let's see here what we got. So 7800 XT or 4070, they're all going to be around the same price, $489, $489, $20 off. And this is a DoorDash gift card, which is just as good as money. The way people are actually buying these days, it's just as good as just as good as cash. 4060 Tis. I mean, everything's gonna be kind of in that $400 price point. I don't see anything that just jumps out at me that isn't anything crazy. That's crazy. You know, $499, $479. You might get $20 if that. I don't see anything that also even has a great game with it. You know what I mean? This one has Indiana Jones and Great Circle limited offer. Like, no one really cares. And not saying that that's a bad game. I haven't played it. I'm just saying, like, no one cares. It's not like it's like Call of Duty or something. So yeah, you know, 7700 XT, 398, that's actually a pretty good deal. But you know, everything's only going to be like $10 to $20 off. And I'm trying to look through it to see if there's anything crazy. And I don't see anything jumping out at me. Everything is $10 to $20 off. You're really not going to find a whole lot unless you get an open box on the graphics card. So when it comes to graphics cards, I would say don't go for Black Friday. When it comes to graphics cards, I would say skip it and go for open box if you have a store near you that has open box. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get away from this one here. And let's see. Computer cases. I went over computer cases, but a few updates have happened. One, Fractal North is actually on sale. The Fractal North is one of the greatest cases ever. I really like it. I have it like right over here. Fractal North is great. You know, 21% off for a Fractal North is pretty good. The Corsair 4000D Airflow or 4000D Corsair, it's a great case. It's very, very big. I'm not really a big fan of big cases, but I realized I just talked about the Fractal North. But, you know, these cases here are nice full-size ATX cases. If we're looking for micro ATX, because we literally have been talking about micro ATX because they had the better deals, then let me see if they have anything here. Okay, so that's mini IT. Let's take that back. Mid ATX Sama Black Friday deal for $82.99, high airflow, sturdy. It looks very akin to, let me see, other cases of Yonder. Let me see, what is this? Okay, so this is an ATX mid-tire, so it can take a full-size ATX motherboard. It doesn't give you a whole lot to work with when it comes down to that bottom area, because, you know, you got fans down there, but it is very, very pretty for its price point, especially at $82. So as far as mid-size cases, I would say something along those lines. The Thermaltake Micro ATX, I like this case. Basically, the graphics card sits vertically, and it also has a lot of room for a really big size graphics card. So if you're going to get something a little bit on the bigger side, 4070 Super Series, then, you know, this guy here may actually fit the bill. And, you know, it's a little tall. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be tall and it's a little bulky. Reminds me of like half X's of yonder years, you know, the big bulky boxes. And so yeah, it's going to be along those lines. So please bear that in mind. But at the same time, it is very, very good. I really like this case, especially at $99. I like it even more. Mini ITX, I'm not going to talk about. Most people don't go Black Friday for Mini ITX. They just buy Mini ITX. And we'll leave it at that. You know, there's a little bit here, but it's not, you know, anything that just jumps out crazy. Like if we're talking about something that's really cheap, this guy here for $54, Sama ARGB Black USB 3 tempered glass micro ATX tower for $50. That's not a bad deal. I mean, it's $50. You know, obviously your fans are going to be a little loud because it's $50. But overall, you know, for the price point, it's still not bad. Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and move on from that. And let's go ahead and go to power supplies. Alrighty, so because we're only talking about anything less than a 4070 Super, because anything more you should wait, we'll stick around the 850 watt or lower price point. So let's see here. 850E fully modular, low noise. And, well, I do like the fully modular power supplies. They are very good. I'm a big fan. But, you know, this is probably gonna beat it. And because I mean, if we're going to talk about power supplies, you know, okay, well, this is going to be the best. But plain and simple, that's going to murder everything here. Yes, it is. Let me make sure. Before I give my final recommendation, I want to make sure. I love that the PSU I just clicked. I'm going to talk about here in 1 second here. I just want to make sure that nothing else beats it. Nope, it's the best. All right. This right here. Cooler Master VA50 SFX Gold. And this is an SFX power supply, gold, very small form factor. Now, you got to make sure that your case can accommodate SFX. Most cases can. But the reason why this guy is so great is because, one, is SFX. So it can fit in smaller cases as well as larger cases, depending on, you know, you just put a plate on it so it can fit in larger cases. But it's 850 watt gold. So it can handle most of your graphics cards 4070 and under. Not most, all, because we're talking about a gold power supply, so it's very, very efficient. Plus it's fully modular. I really, really, really like this power supply. Like, it's really good. Now, it does have PCIe 5, so that means that you are going to have the VHPWR, which I'm always going to mispronounce, but you do have that for the PCIe slot. So anything in the 40 series, like the 4080, 4090, stuff like that, you're already going to get it the way you want it, which is going to be with that single pin. You don't have to do 87 8-pin cases. Like, you don't have to do like 87 pins. Like, you can just do that one VHPWR case pin and you should be done with it, as it shows there. So that's why I like this guy. It's really, really, really good. Very small form factor, very sturdy. I haven't had any problems with it. And plus, because it is $129 with $30 off, $99.99 for this guy is gonna, there's no point in looking at any other power supply. This is the best power supply, hands down. And this is a SF1000, fully modular, low noise, 80 plus gold as well. But you know, it's a SFXL. I'm sorry, it's a SFXL. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's just a regular SFX. Okay, it just had the L on it. But this is also a really good power supply. Now, of course, this guy is 119, whereas the other one is 99, and this is 800, or this is 1,000 watt, which is fine for it to be 1,000 watt, because I mean, 1,000 watt allows you to use it for 4090s and things of that nature. But you know, it's kind of up to you. I don't really see a point of you going 1,000 watt. You know, 8050 gold is pretty much enough for most situations, unless, you know, the new graphics cards turn into absolute tanks. But I would say 1,000, maybe. This would probably be like my runner up. This will be number one. This will be number two. Power supplies, that was really easy. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go to cooling. Why not? Alrighty, so we did see a little bit of cooling here, but a lot of it is going to be personal preference. Some people like bigger, some people like smaller, some people like liquid cooling. I'll go liquid cooling because we've been talking about Ryzen, but it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Like, for example, the Hyper 212 Evo, well, it used to be called Evo. I'm not sure what it's called now, but the Hyper 212, I mean, it's probably in most cases okay, but it's not going to be the greatest thing in the world, but it'll probably get the job done because we've been talking about mid-grade processors this entire time. So, you know, but I would say Be Quiet Dark Rock 5 would probably be my sweet spot if we're talking about coolers, like actual AC cooler, or not AC coolers, but heatsink coolers. And well, okay, the other ones have heatsinks too, but open air coolers, that's the word I was looking for, versus liquid coolers. So if we're talking open air, I always like the Dark Rock Be Quiet because those are just really nice and really quiet. If we're talking about like a liquid cooler, I would say the H100i. I really never go any higher than like a H100i or H115i. I rarely ever go for the 3 slots, the 150i's. I don't really see a point. In most situations, you know, this is okay. You can go for something like this, but I would rather go 2 140 millimeter fans than 3, what is this? 360 millimeter fans. My mind just went blank. I'm sorry. I would rather go 2 128 or 2 140, so 280 millimeter than 360. That's just my personal preference. Once it gets to 360, it's just too long for me and it becomes a very, very big case. So I would say H100i if we're talking liquid cooling, and the Be Quiet if we're talking about air cooling. Some of these other ones are okay, like any of these Hyper 212s have been okay, but if you can get a Be Quiet, I would go for a Be Quiet. Or if you can get a Noctua, I'll go for a Noctua. And those are just my personal preferences. That's not any reason behind it. They're just cooler and quieter. Let me see if I covered everything here. Yes, I think so. Power supply, I think, I mean, SSDs, we kind of already covered. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about it, but I will click on them just because. So, you know, 1 terabyte if you're, you know, a glutton for punishment. 2 terabytes if you want to stay safe. So if you want to do gaming and you want to have a lot of games on it, then I would say 2 terabyte minimum. I'm tired of saying 1 terabyte. I've been saying 1 terabyte for years, so I'm kind of done with 1 terabyte at this point. It's just not enough storage. The games are too big. I would say 2 terabyte minimum, or 2 terabytes if you can get that. That'd be great. But you know, the Western Digital Black has been on sale everywhere. It's not a Newegg thing. It's everywhere thing, and it's always a pretty good deal at 124. You know, you can get some a little bit cheaper if you like go to like Newegg and you know, get some of the cheaper ones, but the Western Digital Black is more reliable, so I'll go with that. Obviously 990 Pros are really good, but they're always going to be more expensive. There's no way around that. They're just the Samsung chip, the memory chip, that you use for the actual NVMe drives are just better. So that's the reason why it's just always a good deal. But there's not a whole lot more to say about NVMe's. You know, you're going to be in that $120 price range if we're talking about 2 terabyte, and you're going to be in the $240 price range if we're talking about 4. Target has some pretty nice deals here. Dirt Devil Whole Home. No, I'm joking. We're going to keep it to gaming and PC focus. The PlayStation 5 consoles are now on sale. So I know I mentioned that in a previous video, but they are truly on sale now. So if we click on the PlayStation 5, this is computer related. This is computer related. Computer related. So PS5 consoles are now $374.99 for the digital edition, as well as $424.99 for the disc edition. Please don't do that. Just go for the $374.99 because that disc edition, even if you try to sell it later, it only is like a $12, you know, a $12 difference in the price if you try to sell it. Like, it's not worth what it is. So I would just go for the $374.99, the digital edition, and then just upgrade the NVMe if you need to do so, or just delete games. PlayStation 5 digital console slim with the NBA 2K25 for $374.99, sell in Saturday. This is great. This is really great. Oh my goodness, this is nice. This is probably the best deal I've seen. Hey, look at that. We got a good deal for Target. So PlayStation 5 digital console slim NBA 2K25 bundle. That's gonna be one of the best things I've seen here. So $374.99. What am I seeing? I keep seeing something at the bottom, but I'm not sure what it's a like. Okay. What is that? $374.99 PlayStation 5 digital console slim NBA 2K25 bundle. Good job. Target has one of the best deals here, especially if you're a basketball fan or if you like the Celtics, because you know Jason Tatum is Jason Tatum. I wouldn't say he's him. I'm not crazy. I would say that's Steph Curry. But when it comes to just actual console deals, this is probably gonna be the best one I've seen. We haven't gone to some of the other ones, but that guy is great. I'd buy that over any of this crap. This is the best, and it's probably gonna get sold out, so please bear that in mind. I don't live in no Chula Vista East, but you know, I would check for everywhere for this one here, because this is going to be the best deal, and it's going to be straight gone, because $374.99 with NBA 2K25, that's $60 off, so we're talking about $314. So yeah, that's an excellent deal. Alrighty, let me see what else is on sale here. So we have some DualSense controllers and Xbox controllers, so go ahead and take a look at those. Xbox Series X is on sale for $449. I don't like its price point personally. I think the Xbox price point is whatever the PlayStation says it is, period. There's nothing to talk about. If the PlayStation's price point has dropped down to $374.99, then the Xbox Series X's price point should also be $374.99. It shouldn't try to stay more. Like, there's no point. There's nothing to be gained from that. I get that, you know, this is the disc edition and, you know, it has a stronger graphics card, but you're still in the same market with PlayStation, and PlayStation has been killing you. So if you're in the market with PlayStation, your price is their price, period. There's nothing to discuss. So, you know, I'm not too on about the $449, but it is cheaper than what it normally is. So I'll give it that, but I'm not going to talk about it too much more. It's just, there's just no point. Razer, we'll go ahead and add that. And we already looked at some of this other stuff. So, Logitech gaming accessories, we'll go and add that too. Alrighty, so we know that is one of the best deals. We'll go ahead and move this over to the side. And let me see what else is here. Okay, we'll close that out. We already talked about it. PlayStation 5 controllers on sale from $54.99 to $84.99. Doesn't really help anybody any much. You just gotta take a look at it and see exactly what color you want, and then it will change based on the price. So that doesn't tell us too much. Xbox controllers, anywhere from $44.99 for a regular Xbox controller isn't bad. Generally, you know, it's like, what, $10 off or something along those lines, or $15 off. I like this one, the gold one, for $59.99. I don't like the price. You know, and they're all going to be around the same price, at $39.99, $44.99 for Xbox controllers. The purple one is the one that speaks to me. But, you know, this isn't anything crazy. These are just normal price discounts on Xbox controllers. So there's not a whole lot to talk about here. $449, we already talked about you. It's okay, but it's not great. Your price is PS5's price. Alrighty, and then Razer Black Shark V2 wired. It's wired. You know, I'm doing wired, don't get me wrong, but it's only because I'm running an entire show. But if you're not running a show, there's no point in doing wired. Please go wireless. Razer Kyra wireless gaming headset, PlayStation 5. This is nice. And plus, it has a USB-C dongle that's very low profile, instead of like, you know, like something that you have to connect to or anything along those lines. So that's pretty nice. The ear cups look pretty good. I haven't actually looked at this product or tested this product, but it's okay. Now, because the ear cups are shaped that way, there is a possibility that you can have some ear fatigue. So please bear that in mind. But overall, it looks like a pretty good headset for $64.99 because the discount on it looks pretty good. A Basilisk for $39.99 for a wired gaming mouse. It's not anything to write home about. Not anything to write home about either. Kyras, more Kyras. The Ornate V3 gaming keyboard, wired. Not a whole lot to talk about. Huntsman, I like this keyboard. It's very nice. It's very portable, especially if you want to travel with it. It's really good. But, you know, there's not a whole lot to talk about it outside of the fact that it's portable. And, you know, depending on which one you can get a relatively quiet one. Leviathan, I'm not a fan. It's okay, but it's not great as far as sound quality when we're talking about speakers. G35 headset, I do like Logitech head cups or ear cups because they don't hurt as much over time. So I would say this one here over some of the ones we were looking at a second ago, like some of these Razer ones. I don't like the shape of the ear cups. They would hurt my ears over time. But these have a chance to not. So I would say these are really good. Logitech G502 Hero, excellent mouse. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about it. I don't personally have one anymore, but I do have Logitech mouses. So I am a big fan of Logitech mouses, so bear that in mind. G15 TKL. This is also a great keyboard. Is this the one I have? I'm pretty sure this is it. Okay, so yeah, this is the keyboard that I currently use, the G15 TKL, which is, yeah, I'm sorry, G915 TKO is the one I use. This is the G15 or 515. So this is a little bit different. This is the wired version. I have the wireless version, but I am a huge fan. Obviously, I already have it. Not anything to write home about. Please don't do that. Mostly just 149 for a keyboard is just a bit much. I don't care what's going on. I just, unless we're talking about super, super quiet, then I don't really see a point, especially if we're talking about a mechanical gaming keyboard. Now, I may be, just off the rip prejudging this, and I do apologize. It's just, most people here aren't looking for a $150 keyboard when we're talking about Black Friday. If we're talking about any other day that isn't Black Friday or Cyber Monday, I get you. But if we're talking Black Friday, nobody's going for that. Alrighty, headphones. I remember headphones. Let's do it. Alrighty, so headphones, Beats Solo. Beats is one of those ones that price point is going to vary drastically because Beats, the actual cost to make the product is very, very low. Beats is actually, like when I worked at Best Buy, Beats is one like 20 years ago, but when I worked at Best Buy, Beats is one of those ones that you can actually get it at cost and it gets you a really nice discount. Like you can get like $50, $75 off the price of the headphones simply because cost for Beats is relatively cheap. All of their money is in marketing. So you can always get a pretty good deal when it comes to Beats because they have the ability to change their price as it goes on because they don't have to do as much marketing. Like literally, Beats was like maybe 60% marketing, maybe 40% product, or 70% or 30% product. Like it was a lot of marketing. So because of that, the price point can vary drastically. So please bear that in mind. You're gonna see maybe $99, you may see it cheaper. It really just kind of depends on the situation if you're a big Beats fan. Earbuds, Beats Solo earbuds for $49.99 is a pretty good deal. Now I haven't tried these, but I have tried the Arctis SteelSeries gaming buds, and those were really good. It's just that they bothered my ear. So these will do the exact same because they go up. They're the exact same as the other ones. They both bother my ear. I've never looked at the JLab Flex Trues, but I mean, if I'm gonna go for anything, I'd rather go for Beats. And let's see here. JBL, I do like the ones that actually hang out of your ear a little bit more, but at $25 price point without noise canceling, I would probably go with something like this. True wireless earbuds. And let's see here. Of course, the WH-1000 XM4, hands down, one of the best deals for headsets. Now, of course, there is the XM5, and those are a little bit better. But XM4s, like I have the WH-1000 XM3s, and I still use them, and they're broken, and I still use them. So I would say, give credit where credit is due, hands down. WH-1000 XM4s, XM5s, XM3s, all good. Let's see here. Sony Bluetooth wireless headphone with microphone. That doesn't tell us anything. JBLs, they're all going to be at a really low price point, so I'm not going to talk about them too much. Earbuds and earphones are kind of what they are. You usually kind of go in knowing exactly what you want, but the Sony Oatwear, that's kind of nice with Bluetooth wireless noise cancellation, and it doesn't actually tell you. You got to look at the price of cart, and I'm not going to do that because it's going to tell me to log in. So, it's okay. So we're just going to go ahead and move on. Apple, I like Apple. So iPads, 10.2-inch Wi-Fi. The thing about Apple is a lot of these iPads, like anything from 2021 on up, are gonna be, I get that some of them have a better chip, A1, A2, whatever. But at the same time, it's really not gonna give you much if we're talking about a tablet because they've been limited by operating system for like 5 years now. So you're not really gonna get a whole lot from this. Yo, what's up? Have you found a 4070 Super at a good price? Yes, I have. Amazon. Was it a 4070 Super? It may just be a 4070. I can look it up though. RTX 4070 Super XF. Ties, yes. I saw somebody had asked me about the 4070 Super, and when we looked over them, we didn't see much. 579. I mean, that's not helping anyone ever. So, $500 is kind of where you're going to be on that price point. Now, there was a full PC build that actually had a 4070 Super that was sitting at like $1,200. But as far as, we'll go back to Newegg because Newegg is the only one that really had really good deals. The only one that actually came close on Amazon, the reason why I went here first is because I don't think it was a Super though. I think it was the 4070 XFX. And it was for something. Where'd it go? 4070 XFX GPU. Come on now. I know you're here. Stop hiding. It was somewhere in this price point, but it was less than this. It was like $439 for a 4070, which was pretty good. And I was like, okay, well, it's not the, the best deal you've seen, but it's not the worst either for $439 for a 4070. But I'm not going to spend too much time on it. We'll go ahead and go back here and take a look at GPUs because it's just easier than searching through Amazon. So let's see here. For the 4070 Super, take a look here and see what we got. Okay, so yeah, when we went over graphics cards, everything's going to be in that $10 to $20 price point. You're not really going to save too much on these guys. And, you know, 4070 Super, you're kind of touching that sweet spot like we were talking about earlier. You know, if you're sitting at, you know, 4070 Super or lower, then it's okay to buy now. But if you're going a little bit higher, or you can go a little bit higher, it's probably best just to wait till February when the new graphics cards come out. So 4070 Super is right in that sweet spot area. So, you know, it's kind of up to you on this one here. But generally, if we're looking at anything, I would say this one guy here is $20 off, but that doesn't tell us a whole lot. This guy here is $589. So Zotac Gaming GeForce RTX 4070 Super Twin Edge, but the Twin Edge is always the cheaper model. So it's not like we're saying anything that's absolutely out of the ordinary. But at the same time, I love Zotac. I mean, the Zotac 1080 Ti was my baby. Like, I birthed that thing. Like, I had that thing for years, and I still keep it around even though it doesn't work anymore. Because the Zotac 1080 Ti, if anybody doesn't know, it's small form factor, 2-slot 1080 Ti. It's freaking awesome. But Zotac is always one of my favorite graphics cards when it comes to just anything in general. So the 4070 Super Twin Edge is probably going to be your sweet spot here if we're talking about a price point. And then, of course, you get digital edition of Indiana Jones Great Circle with select GeForce RTX series, which is kind of going on right now, which no one cares about. But, you know, it's something that you should, you know, pay attention to. I mean, at least that. But 589 is probably going to be where you are. Sorry about that, but graphics cards really don't go that low unless a newer graphics card forces them to. Alrighty, where were we? We were on, have we gone to Best Buy yet? I think we are finishing up Target, yes. Alrighty, so back to Apple. Apple Pencil, no one cares. $99 is actually pretty normal. Typically with Apple Pencils, if you had gone to Best Buy and go get the Apple Pencil, it's best just to get open box anyway, because a lot of people return Apple Pencils because they're too expensive. So I would never go to Black Friday looking for an Apple Pencil because they're always $100 every single time, because they're always an open box, because everybody always returns them. They're very expensive. So nothing to talk about here. iPads, as we talked about, anything 2021 and newer, there's no real point because they're limited by software, not hardware. Well, they're limited by operating system, not hardware. So, you know, that doesn't tell us a whole lot for the M2. That doesn't tell us a whole lot for the Watch Series 10. I do love this watch, don't get me wrong. I don't like the fact that the band that it comes with is the band that you won't use, but it is what it is. You have to get a new band for it, but it's okay. iPad Pro M4 with standard glass Apple iPad for $899. This is okay, but at the same time, I would say the M3 Apple iPad is also really good. I mean, as long as you get the 120 hertz refresh rate on the screen, it's okay. I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about here when we're talking about iPad Pros. iPad Pros, as long as it's 120 hertz, I really don't care. You know, and you know, whether it's the M3 or the M4, you really don't gain a whole lot with it. You gain a faster processor that's limited by operating system, once again. So who cares? You know what I mean? So it's not a whole lot to talk about there. AirPods Max, I don't care about at all, mostly because this has been the exact same model for the past 5 years and they haven't gone down in price. So you get no respect from me on that. Refurbished Apple Watches, I don't really see a point. Magic keyboards, I also don't see a point because you can just get a keyboard open box and there's not a whole lot wrong that can happen with an open box keyboard. So I wouldn't even call this a deal. I get that the iPad Air is attached to it, but I still don't care. AirPods, it's the 2022 refurbished, no one cares. Apple Magic Keyboard, no one cares. Refurbished. So, you know, a lot of refurbished stuff here. iPad Pros, they don't really tell you the full price. So Apple is doing Apple things. It is what it is. All right, moving on. Backbones. Backbones are okay. Now, of course, they came with the PlayStation Portable that you can also use. That's basically like a backbone, but the backbone is cool because it uses your cell phone. I have made a review on this. It's actually on my channel. So I'm very, very comfortable talking about the backbone as well as the Xbox version too. They're very good. They can give you kind of the PS5 Portable feel to them, and they're a little bit nice and small form factor. Some games may have issues than others depending on which one you're playing on, but that's about it. There's not a whole lot to say about them. They've been replaced by the PlayStation Portable for PlayStation, and then for the Xbox one, they're okay, especially depending on what kind of game you play. Most people who buy these play Call of Duty Mobile, and they do work for that. Please bear that in mind, but you have to make sure that the controller is connected before you start up Call of Duty Mobile, but it does work for Call of Duty Mobile. And I think that's it. All right, we just finished Target. Good stuff, good stuff. What are we doing on time? Oh, good. Time is good. All righty, Best Buy. Now, let me make sure anybody has any questions. No, I think we're good. All righty, so let's go ahead and go to Best Buy. Best Buy Doorbusters. Okay, can I talk about TVs? Yes. I just don't feel comfortable talking about Black Friday TVs because a lot of those TVs are lesser quality than their counterparts. Okay, so a lot of times they're going to have a weaker processor, a lower processor that they just kind of had low bend, meaning that processors get bend. I don't care where they come from, but they get bend. So the better processors end up in better actual name brand TVs, and the lesser processors get bent to something else. These are lesser processors when we're talking about Black Friday doorbusters, that kind of TV. So bear that in mind. The quality may not be as good on the actual TV stand whenever you go to the store as it will when you get it home, because there's just lesser processors. They're weaker processors. Therefore, I don't really like talking about TVs too much, even though I can. So it's one of those kind of situations. So I'm not going to talk about TVs all that much, but you know, if somebody asks me a question, I might talk about it, but you know, it's not like I don't know the topic. I just, it's a little rough when we start talking about televisions, and I don't want somebody being mad at me because their TV sucks. You know, you bought $100 TV, bro. What did you expect was going to happen? So Best Buy Black Friday. We'll start with the front screen here. 55-inch TCL for $179 doorbuster that was $329. Of course, this is going to be a lesser processor. It's going to be a lesser bin processor, so I'm not going to talk about it, but it is a pretty good deal. Is it a good deal? Yes. Are you going to be happy with the quality? You know what I mean? It's, you know, it depends. It truly depends, but I mean, hey, it's there, so it is a deal. I'll give you that. Beats Power Beats Total Wireless Earbuds. I do like these earbuds. They're in your ear for sure. And they can irritate the back of your earlobe. So please bear, or not earlobe, but the back cartilage of your ear. So please bear that in mind. Like this area right here, because they kind of go behind you. So they generally don't have, you can't hold them as long as you can something that's in ear or something over ear, just because of the way they feel on your ears, for me. So, you know, but, you know, at $129, that's a pretty good deal. I don't know if it's going to be a doorbuster, but it's an okay deal. Hello, I have purchased the Asus ROG Strix 16 with i7 and 4060. Is this good for my first PC? Hell yeah. Oh my God, yes. ROG 6 with 16 gigs, I'm guessing you said 16 gigs of RAM with an i7 and 4060. Yes, that's actually absolutely great. 4060 right in that price point, right below the 4070 Super. So you don't have to worry about the new graphics cards coming out in February, March. Plus, you can run 2K, 120 all day long. I don't care what game, unless we're talking about not Overwatch, but Call of Duty, which case I would say 100 medium settings. So overall, 4060, very good, very good graphics card. It's like, it's a very good starter graphics card that you don't have to really worry about it. See, here's the thing. When we're talking about graphics cards, you're looking at 2K, 120, 144, anything higher than 144, I would even say anything higher than about 165, you can't even see it anyway, right? So you're not gonna notice a difference between a 2K 165 and a 2K 240, okay? Bear that in mind. Now, 4K 120, 4K 240 is a huge jump. Okay, you can't pick like a 4080 and expect it to hit a 4K 240 max settings. Not gonna happen. You're gonna need a 4090 for that in most games, not called Overwatch or like Dota. So the price point, the price delta is huge. We're talking about $1,000 price difference, right? So unless you're ready to make that jump, 4060 is perfect, right? Because you can kind of get at that 2K sweet spot and sit at 100 to 120 frames per second in most games. So 4060, 4070 Super is where I cut off. If you're talking about 4080 anything, or 4080 Super, whatever, 4090, then you're best to just go ahead and wait till next year when the newer graphics cards come out, because it'll lower the prices of the 40 series graphics cards, and then go for that. So that you're right at that cusp. So yes, I would say a 4060 is absolutely excellent. Alrighty, so here on Best Buy, let's see here. So full HD laptop, 512 gig SSD, trash. If you want my opinion of it, not that the actual product is trash, 512 gig SSD is trash. So you're gonna have to upgrade that guy, because 512 gigabyte gives you nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can't do anything with it. We're talking about gamers here. That's one game, if that, and that one game is Cuphead. So you're not doing much with that. So even if you did get that, bear in mind you're gonna have to upgrade that NVMe almost the same day. So literally, if you're gonna come out of the store with this, come out of the store with an SSD. Alrighty, and you know, college games or football games for $29.99, Madden 2025, that's pretty good. You know, you're gonna get that price point. We have seen this before. So if we find, you know, some of these other games, we'll go ahead and take a look at it. But let's see what else we got here. JBL soundbar, it's okay, but the JBL is kind of like your decent price soundbar anyway. You know, I typically use Sonos when it comes to soundbars, but this doesn't really help us, and we're kind of going a little bit off track talking about JBL because they don't really make it for gamers, right? If we're talking about gamers, the LG Ultra Gear 45-inch OLED curve, 240 hertz NVIDIA G-Sync. This is a doorbuster, but it's not busting any doors. Nobody's going for this. It's way too expensive. And not only is it way too expensive, let me see what it is here. Is it a good monitor? Yes, but anybody going to buy something like this that is 1440p still and 240 hertz ultra wide with an 800R curve, if you're going to buy this, you're looking for a 4080, 4090 anyway. So you're not talking to me. You already know what you want. So it is what it is on this guy. So, you know, there's nobody that's going to be door busting this at all. You know what I mean? If they came in, they know they wanted this. So there's nothing to talk about here. But let's go ahead and go to the next one here. So full HD gaming laptop, Ryzen 5 with 8 gigs of RAM, trash. 6550M, okay. 512 gigabyte SSD, trash. See, this is why. Now, we can talk about it, you know, when we're talking about laptops, but TVs, there's no way to know what the processor is unless you get it home, right? That's why I don't like talking about TVs, but laptops, you know for sure, this is going to be trash for 8 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabyte SSD, unless you're getting it for like a girl or a daughter or somebody who doesn't utilize PCs much. It's okay. But if you're talking about gamers, which is what this channel is about, this is trash. Like, for example, 8 gigs of RAM is not enough. You need at least 16 for me to be comfortable with you gaming. And then 512 gigabyte SSD is just, I mean, come on now. Like, my phone has more. So I would say, you know, if you're going to get something like this, get an SSD or more memory, and then it's okay. Then it's a true doorbuster. But this, the way it is trash. I wouldn't recommend it. See, even this 75-inch DU 6950, it's kind of going off brand here. That's not a real brand for Samsung, so I'm not even gonna pay homage to it. Apple MacBook Air 13-inch, Apple M2 chip, good chip, a little hot. 16 gigs of RAM, 256 gig SSD. You're gonna get that with max. 256 gig SSD is trash, obviously, but of course you do have iCloud to help you with some of that storage utilization, and of course you can plug in a actual drive to it to actually increase the storage. So please bear that in mind. Most people are okay with it when it comes to Macs, but when it comes to PCs, I give no respect. If you are running a 512 gigabyte SSD and you're talking about Windows, you should be slapped. You should be, because that can be upgraded. This can't be, so that's a little different. So, and on top of that, it's better to get it at that price point and then just add a drive to it and use iCloud. You know what I mean? So this is okay. This should be slapped. Like, unless we're talking about a girl, teenager, maybe a kid who's not into gaming, then this is okay. ROG Ally, we looked at this, doorbuster. It was $399 where I looked at it previously. This is a bad deal. If we go to Newegg, I think Newegg is the one that had the ROG Ally on sale. Yeah, ROG Ally, 512 gig, 1080p, 120 hertz, Z1 processor, same thing. So this is versus this right here. Save an extra $50 with Plus. This is a bad deal, 100%. So it's the exact same thing. 512 gig SSD and 512 gig SSD, 1080p, 120 hertz, 100% bad deal. 100% bad deal. Just go for this. Just please don't do that. So if you're looking for the ROG Ally, please don't buy it from Best Buy. Just go ahead, or if you are going to buy from Best Buy, price match it to Newegg, because Newegg has the better deal. Even though this person here gave it a bad review, it's a ROG Ally. I mean, it's a really good 120 hertz. Is it going to utilize that? Of course not. The processor is going to hold it back. I knew this when it first came out, and I already had it handheld. I had the Neo or Neo 2. And so I already knew it was going to hold it back, because that guy can barely hit 60. Even though, you know, it's not that it's bad or anything. It's just asking this to do 120 with that processor is just not ideal. So that's probably why this person is kind of down on it, and it gets a little hot. But, you know, it is what it is. It's a handheld, and it's a Windows PC. So you know, of course you're going to have to upgrade that SSD, but at the same time, it's no different than this Best Buy deal, but it's $100 cheaper. So just get it from Newegg. Please don't get it from Best Buy. All right, Danny, what's up? Alrighty, make sure I hit everybody I have so far. Alrighty, so 48-inch class B4 series. B4 is actually okay when it comes to TV, so I'm okay with saying that this is an actually good deal. B4, C4, any of those. B4 is just kind of lower quality to the C4, which is their, you know, base. What's it called? It's their base best model, right? Because they have the M4 as well as the G4. So the C4 is kind of like the baseline model, and the B4 would be kind of like a baser baseline model. So it's not the best model, and it's kind of like fourth place. I guess that's the best way to say it, because you got your G4, you have your M4, and then you have the C4. Damn, my knowledge on these topics is stupid. Okay, Nintendo Switch has a bundle. Let's see what we got here. Alrighty, so Nintendo Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for $299 for the Nintendo Switch. Good deal. Nothing to say bad about it. Then you have the Nintendo Switch OLED model, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for $349. Now, when it comes to the Switch versus the OLED version, the only reason why you would want the OLED version if you have plans on using it portably. I don't use it portably. I have it just sitting in the dock stand 24/7, in which case I would say go for the $299. But if you're gonna use it literally anywhere else, then the OLED is better. Or jailbreak it, no. Alrighty, if you're gonna jailbreak, you gotta go with the original model. But none of these models are gonna be jailbroken because they're newer. You gotta find, like used in order to, okay, I'm talking too much. I'll just leave that alone. I'll leave that topic all the way alone. Alrighty, so we'll just back out of this one. We already talked about it. We already talked about that. College football, Madden 2025, college NCAA 2025. That's, $29.99 doorbuster deals for that. If you need that, you know it. Alrighty, and let me see what else we got here. Okay, those are the doorbusters we already hit. Black Friday deals, a lot of these iPad ones we already talked about. Air M3, 256 gig, $849 for a MacBook Air. It is what it is when it comes to Apple. Of course, you're gonna have to buy some actual external storage, but most gamers aren't looking for Apple anyway. Now, if you want to game on Apple, then I would suggest just connecting it remote desktop into a gaming PC than actually trying to do it that way, because these M3 chips, they prevent you from having external GPUs. Back when it was Intel, you could actually still game on it because you can use an external GPU. Now, not so much. So please bear that in mind. But we'll skip some of these Macs because they don't really help anyone. Let's see here. Chromebooks, 8 gigs of memory. That's not a doorbuster, that's trash. 8 gigs memory, 256 gigs. Still, I wouldn't recommend it unless we're talking about like a mom or somebody who won't use a lot. Even my mom, when I would never give her 8. It's just not ideal, because as soon as they start opening multiple tabs, it's gonna have a problem and stress out. i5, good. 8 gig, bad. And let's see here. UT70, I'm not getting into that. We already talked about it. S84D, another one. Class S3, I'm not even. It's $100. Jose Juke, what's up, bro? How's it going? How's life treating you? Sonos Arc, $699 after savings. Now, Sonos Arc does go, it ranges, sometimes it's $700, sometimes it's $800, so please bear that in mind. But the fact that it's, $699 is okay. I've had problems with Sonos Arc in the past, depending on what you're hooking it up to. If you're hooking it up to a PC, and this is the reason why I'm talking about it, then, with the SPDIF cable, it's okay. Sometimes it can run into problems, so please bear that in mind. But overall, the Arc is okay. I really do like the product, and I like having the speaker really far away. So I use the Sonos Arc for like gaming. So if you want to get a lot of boom with your computer setup, then a Sonos Arc is really good because you can plug it directly into the SPDIF port and use it that way. So I am a fan of the Sonos Arc when it comes to using it as speakers for your computer. And that's the only reason why I'm talking about it. Oh, chilling, going over every product known to mankind for Black Friday, bro. And showing just how versed I am at all of these products. So streaming devices, I think Apple TV kind of took the cake unless we're talking about jailbreak. But if we're not talking about jailbreak, then I would say Apple still takes the cake. Fire Sticks are okay. I typically like Apple TVs because they're just smoother. And plus, everybody who isn't technically savvy can use them. So that's why I typically go for Apple TVs over Fire Sticks. Like, I used to do Fire Sticks all the time for like family members and stuff like that, but I've moved to Apple TV because it's simpler. It's a lot easier ecosystem. Everybody understands it. Like, my mom picked it up in like 30 minutes. So just bear that in mind. But, $20 for Fire Sticks are okay. And, generally they're going to range in that $20 to $50 price point. So it being $21.99 for that guy is okay. Now, this one here supports Wi-Fi 6E. Please bear that in mind, but Wi-Fi 6E doesn't matter if you don't have Wi-Fi 6. So if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you. You're going to be using Wi-Fi 5, and it's going to go down to Wi-Fi 5. Wi-Fi 6 is okay. For Wi-Fi 6, the reason why you want that is because it has a lower range, but it has better connectivity. Well, it has a higher bandwidth frequency. So basically, it's dual band, so you can use it for streaming for multiple devices, and they all get similar speeds. So that's the reason why you want to use Wi-Fi 6 if you have it. But if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. So yeah. I'm a bad man when it comes to talking about networking connectivity. And okay, all right, I'm moving on. I'm getting off my ego box. So yeah, also pretty good deal. I'll leave it at that. All right, let's move on here. PlayStation 5 consoles, we already talked about it. PlayStation VR 2 headset, Horizon Call of the Mountain. Call of the Mountain, one of the better PlayStation games. But I know because somebody else told me that the PlayStation VR 2 is getting an update. The VR 3 headset is coming out, and a lot of people got the PlayStation Plus or a PlayStation 5 Pro because of the new VR headset. So I would not recommend even a Black Friday VR headset for PlayStation because I know the VR headset is coming out next year sometime, supposedly, because I had fans tell me. And did you find a good deal on the 4070 Super? We were talking about this just a second ago. So 4070 Super, the deal that we found was the Zotac Gaming GeForce RTX 4070 Twin Edge for $589. And we were talking about, 4070 Super is kind of that right at my cusp, anything higher than that. And then I would say wait until February, March when the new graphics cards come out. Please bear that in mind. NVIDIA's new graphics cards usually release on February or March. But yeah, 4070 Super, Newegg, $589, probably the best deal. Everything else is over $600. We just looked it up. Alrighty, and let's see where we are here. Best Buy. Alrighty, moving right on along here. ROG Ally, $699. I don't trust you anymore, so just don't go to Best Buy for the ROG Ally. Same thing, Lenovo Legion Go, $200 off, but it's the Legion Go. I do like the fact that, these it's a little bit bulkier and these things disconnect and they're really nice. So it's kind of like a Switch in that sense, but at the same time, the Lenovo Legion Go didn't really get a whole lot of push when it came out. It was so far behind the Steam Deck and the Aya Neo, ROG Ally. It just had so much competition. It was already saturated by the time it came out, so it just didn't get a whole lot of push. Astro Gaming A50s, great. $100 off, also great. Let me see here. Your live was discontinued due to inactivity to avoid staying. Okay. Give me 1 second. My live just literally stopped here. I hate that. That's really annoying. Go live. I was still doing the whole thing, man. What are you talking about? But yeah, the TikTok live just went off. But we're not done yet, so we'll continue on. It's loading. It'll be fine. Alrighty, so Astro A50s, Gen 4 wireless. I do like Astro A50s. They're a little bulky. They take a lot of space, and that's the only reason why I've been down on them over the years. And plus, I had the Arctis SteelSeries 7, and I've had that for like 5 years, so I've never needed to upgrade. Those guys have been great. But for $149, $100 off is a really good deal for the A50s, especially if you're looking for a good pair of gaming headsets and you have the space on your desk for it. If you don't have the space on your desk, please don't do this. Go for anything else. The SteelSeries Arctis Gaming buds are good, or any kind of gaming buds, in-ear buds are good, but or just any other headset if you need the space. Like, this guy is really bulky. Like, it takes up a lot of space. So please bear that in mind. But $100 off for this guy, excellent. All right, let's move it back here. Okay. So Apple Watches or just watches, Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultras, I'm not really going to cover them. They're not really gaming related. Beats, we already covered. Gaming chairs, I have already looked at this. Hey, SteelSeries Arctis 7, look at you. A Full HD 1080p 246 hertz. This is okay, but remember, this is Full HD. So even if you got a graphics card to utilize it, this won't do anything. Like that 4060 or 4070 Super, this is useless here because this is going to be CPU bound. So I would definitely not recommend this. I would definitely recommend anything in the 2K or 4K range, or 2K 240 or 2K 144, 2K 165 if we're talking about the lower price point, because you can get like a 2K 144 for like $200-300. If anybody wants to see that, just let me know. I had looked it up earlier. Alrighty, so yeah, this is trash. I wouldn't go for this, especially for people who are looking for a 4060, 4070, something like that. If you have a smaller form factor build, or you have a PC that doesn't have a graphics card, then this is okay. Okay, why did it do all that? That was a little weird. I'm so sorry. So we'll go ahead and let's see here. I think I already looked at this. Best Buy, have we looked at this? Okay, these price points. Okay, one, the 980 Pro, 2TB, 119. That's the first thing I saw. That's really good for a 980 Pro. Now, there's not much difference between the 980 and the 990 Pro when we're talking about MEMEs. So you're not really going to gain much and you're not going to notice it. That's probably the worst part, is that you're not going to notice much difference if you're just doing everyday gaming, because once you have it loaded to memory, no one cares what drive it would use. Like, it doesn't matter when we're talking about gaming. So a 980 Pro for 119 is a good deal if you want Samsung and you want that reliability, but you can find a better deal for cheaper, but it won't be as reliable as a Samsung. So please bear that in mind. Black Shark V2, wired. It is what it is. Arctis Pro wireless, great headset, extra battery pack, cool. 139, Astro A50s, I'd probably go for those instead. But these are wireless too, so, and they have a nice base station and they have battery packs. So, just flip a coin on that one. Either way, they're right around the same price point. Tommy and Jacob, what's going on? And let's see here. Insignia PC gaming chair. I will never buy anything Insignia, including gaming chairs. It just is what it is. I know where it came from. I used to work for Best Buy. No. It's not happening. Let's see what else we have. G502s, the Heroes. We've looked at these before. They were at Newegg. They're going to be around the same price point. And yeah, it's not really, giving me cheap deals or great deals. They're just normal price deals. Like the Logitech G502, like we just saw that a second ago on Newegg. And I think Newegg probably beat it. If we go back here and we go back one more, and we were looking at the Logitech G502. Logitech G502. Okay, so the Logitech G502 Hero is $39.99 here. And then Best Buy, Logitech G502 Hero wired optical, we're looking at the same one? Wired gaming mouse, yeah, okay. So we're looking at the same one here, and it looks like Best Buy beats it by $5. Hey, good job, Best Buy. I had you pegged as terrible, but it appears that you actually came out swinging on this one. So yeah, if you're looking for the Logitech 502 Hero wired, then yeah, it's a little bit cheaper if you go to Best Buy. So some of the mouses are okay. I just wouldn't trust the ROG Ally. So if you're going for the ROG Ally, then don't go here. If you're going for Insignia, don't go here. If you're going for computer chair, don't go here. Is there anything else down here? Motherboards, I would rather you go to Newegg. We talked about that extensively earlier, so I'm not gonna speak on motherboards unless you literally have no choice. We'll go one more page and call it a day on this section. Alrighty, Huntsman. I like the keyboard, very portable, but it's not a whole lot to say about the Huntsman. We saw the Huntsman earlier. It is what it is. V2, still okay. I mean, Huntsman is a Huntsman. 60%. I like the 60% Huntsman better. That's smaller, low profile. But I mean, these price points for keyboards, you know, it is what it is. If you want it, you want it. But it's clicky. It's very loud. So please bear that in mind. Especially, okay, the only reason why loud matters is if one, you have a girlfriend, or two, you are a streamer. If you are a streamer, it'll be picked up in the actual mic. I don't care what mic it is, minus Shure, right? Shure SM7B, it probably won't be picked up, but it'll still hear it. If you have to put like a noise gate on your mic in order for you to not hear that, but please bear that in mind. The clickiness can be a problem. Or if you're at work. The Corsair TC100 leatherette gaming chair. This looks okay. It doesn't look like it's big guy friendly just because of how thin that looks. So it's not anything that you would write home about, but it may get the job done. But I've seen better deals. Like I think we had somebody in chat talk about one that you can get at Costco, which is down the line, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, it's not anything to write home about. It's okay, but you know, it is what it is. But it's from Corsair, which is a well-known brand. So, you know, take that as you will. ROG 65-watt wireless charger with HDMI and USB Type A. What do you mean HDMI? Supports HDMI 2.0 with USB Type A. Okay, whatever. I don't really care. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Nobody's looking for that. Memory, headsets. I think we're done with this. So Best Buy, let me see if we missed anything here that we might need to talk about. Network connectivity and routers. If that was here, I'd talk about that. Let's see. I don't think so when we talk about routers, because Newegg typically has good deals when it comes to networks. Let me see. Routers. Okay, let me just scroll down and see if any of them. Black Friday deals. Here we go. Alrighty, Black Friday deals on wireless routers. Might as well hit it. It's not like it's outside of my range or anything. Dual band mesh Wi-Fi router 6 for Eros. Eros are pretty good. I do like them. Their range, depending on where you are, can be kind of a problem, especially if you're going upstairs and downstairs. But you can have more than one. So there is that. So they do have a mesh topology because, I mean, obviously it says it right there. But mesh meaning that you can have them in multiple places. So you can basically create a mesh as in one can be in a different area, another one can be in a different area, and they'll join together. So it can cover some of that dead space that you get throughout your house. So if you have bigger houses, then things like mesh topology is what you're looking for. And $60 to $70 isn't bad for one. A Wi-Fi 6 wireless router with lifetime internet security, no one cares. 4-band for the actual antennas for ASUS. ASUS has always been pretty good. Now, sometimes I do run into issues with some connectivity depending on what it is, but ASUS has always been pretty good, especially if you only need one router, like if you live in an apartment, then some of these are okay. But at the same time, this price point may be a bit much. You don't really need that much if we're talking about living in an apartment. You don't really have to go for a $100 router. The only time you have to go for something that's over $100 if we're talking about a house. Nighthawk. I do like the Nighthawk and I do like the Archer. The thing about the Archer has some issues, some connectivity issues with the VR headset, the PC Meta 3. So the Meta 3 has issues with some of the Wi-Fi 6 connectivity with the TP-Link. There's been Reddits about it. It's kind of a pain in the butt because I've run into the same issue with my TP-Link because I do like the Deco, the TP-Link Deco, which is, we may come across it here, but it's a giant white cylinder with mesh topology. And I use that because it has some of the best range that you can possibly get. I love the Deco, but it has connectivity issues with the Meta 3, and it used to for a very long time. It drove me crazy for a while. So please bear that in mind. If you do have the Meta 3 and you're looking for any kind of router, just don't go TP-Link. It just save you some time because it has been fixed over the years, but please bear that in mind. It had been a problem in the past. Nighthawks, pretty good. I don't have anything bad to say about them. Dual band wireless routers. I mean, Wi-Fi 6 for 179. I mean, I don't know if that's a doorbuster. I wouldn't call that a doorbuster. It seems a little bit unnecessary. Like, for example, most people here will be okay with like this Archer for $70. Let me take a look at the specs real quick. AX20, AX1800, dual band Wi-Fi 6, which is pretty much all you need here. If we look at the features, 1.8 gigabits per second, so 1200 megabits per second on the 5 gig bandwidth and 574 megabits per second on the 2.4. That should be enough for most people. If we're talking about like a Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz bandwidth, that should be okay for most like apartment setups, things of that nature. If you're not going doing anything crazy, it should be okay. Now, if you're talking about like file transfer, like if you have, God, what is it called? Like a media server that has a bunch of things. Now, it may be a little bit different for that. Now, I would make sure that you do everything wired. If we're talking about media servers, please do not let that guy go wireless because it'll eat up your entire bandwidth if we're talking about Wi-Fi 5. So if we're talking about a media server, please make sure that guy is connected wired, and then you won't have this problem. So it won't matter. But if you make a media server go wireless, it'll eat this up. So please bear that in mind. It does have VPN connectivity. No one cares. We're not going to talk about it because that's a bit much. Easy setup. Most of them are. And so, yeah, this is okay for Wi-Fi 5. So, you know, it is what it is. It's okay. It's literally okay. There's anything to say bad about it. It's a good deal. Minus the fact that it's a TP-Link, right? And if you have a MetaQuest, it can be a problem. So Google Nest always pretty good, especially if you have a bigger house. So like if you're trying to do any type of Wi-Fi setup with a bigger home, I would say anything over 1,800 square feet, then Google Nest is okay because you can talk to it. It has all kind of little cool features and stuff like that. So if you hook it up, like for example, with the Google Wi-Fi, the home little pod things, you can talk to it and do all kind of crazy stuff. But you know, it's okay but the price point is a bit much, especially when you can get an open box for like 178. Generally, routers open box is a good deal because there's usually nothing wrong with them. Generally, if somebody's returning a Wi-Fi router, it's because of price point or something like that, or didn't do exactly what they thought it was going to do. It was kind of painful or something, but it's usually not a good reason to return a router. So unless, you know, it's just bad, but that doesn't happen too often because routers don't really require much. So open box for routers are also a good deal. So if you can't beat open box, then I wouldn't do it. And that's the Nest. Let's see what else we got here. We'll go a little bit further. Eero's okay. I've heard about it. I haven't really looked at too much when it comes to how much bandwidth it has, but at the price point, it's pretty good. Of course, it also is mesh, so it can do quite a bit. Nighthawk B12000 dual band tri-band Wi-Fi 7 router. This guy's excellent, but at the same time, it's very, very pricey. I would recommend the Deco over this, which is, I can show you what I'm talking about because I just said Deco like 8 times. TP-Link Deco. It's just not a part of the Black Friday. But the Deco, like the BE 1600 or 16,000 quad band mesh Wi-Fi 7 system, these guys are better. Now, this is 3. I bought a 2-pack with mine. Yeah, this right here, something along those. Well, no, not at that price point. It wasn't crazy like that. It was like $500 or something like that. Yeah, BE 11,000, somewhere in this area. The Decos, I'm a bit more of a fan of than I am the Nighthawks and anything in that area. So please bear that in mind. I do love the Decos. The Decos have done very well for me. I have one upstairs, I have one right here, I have one right here, and I have one in the garage. And those are really good. Now, of course, the one I have in the garage does have some connectivity problems, but that's because it's hitting a garage, right? So if you are trying to get your bandwidth to your garage and your garage has power, I would recommend Ethernet over power than I would a Wi-Fi router. So bear that in mind. So if you are trying to go to something that's like encased in metal and it does have outlets, then Ethernet over power is going to be better than anything with wireless. Alrighty, I think that's pretty good for Wi-Fi. I don't want to go too crazy and start talking straight network and like drive everybody away, but I figured wireless router needed a shout out. Okay, cool. And that's Best Buy. I think we've covered Best Buy pretty well. So we'll just go ahead and move on to the next one. We'll close that out. Computer chairs. You know what? Computer chairs. Let me add Staples. Staples Black Friday. Because they're usually good with computer chairs. And I just want to go ahead and add it because they may actually have something. So, and we'll come back to Staples here in a little bit. Alrighty. So Amazon. I do like Amazon. So let's go ahead and refresh just in case they added some new deals. Elish, Norm, how's it going? Alrighty, so Amazon also has the Black Friday deal for the PlayStation 5 console at $379 or $429? $424. $424 if we're talking about the disc edition. So please bear that in mind. You can get it from Amazon. And, you know, I'll click on it begrudgingly, but let's see here. Let me make sure. Let me find anything else that's pretty good here. Ooh, 4075 for 12% off. It's going to be sitting in the Black Friday, so we'll take a look at it. Xbox Series S. I'll click on. Let me see what else we got here. Beats, we already taken a look at. I'm not gonna get into cell phone territory. That's not even gaming anymore. Beats headsets, we already talked about. $99 is the right price point. They're all around that price point. Ray-Bans, that doesn't help anyone. Oh, RG Swift 4K OLED. Well, I'll click on it just because I want to see what it is. Ooh, ROG Strix, I'll take that. And 980 Pro, we already know this guy's gonna be 129 or somewhere in that area. MSI thin 15.6 and 140 hertz. Full HD gaming, not so much. I'm not even gonna click on it because, you know, it's full HD, it's 144 hertz. You can probably get that because we're talking about a laptop, but it's not anything to write home about. WH1000 XM4s, we already looked at that. That was already discounted everywhere. Sonicare is also a good toothbrush, but I'm not about to get into that. But the iBuyPower Slate 8, we looked at this before on Newegg. Let's see. XM5s. Hey, let's see what's going on with those. Galaxy tabs, we like those. Let's go with that. And let's see here, find anything else gaming. Tough, 4070 Ti Super. I'll entertain you, but not for long. 57-inch Odyssey Neo G9 will entertain. Fire HD 10 tablets. Fire HD tablets are usually gonna be pretty cheap to begin with, but I'll go ahead and click on it. A little outside of our range, but it's okay. Let's see here. I love this tire inflator. It's really good. I have this one. Oh, Govee floor lamp. This is also really good too for your background setup. I actually just have one. I can actually show it to you. It's right upstairs because it's so cheap. It's like $60. And 85-inch, I mean, that's gonna be out of people's price point. Ooh, 240-inch Quad HD. I'll listen. I'll listen. If you show, I'll listen. We'll take that. We'll take that. Strix 1440p. We'll take that. VivoBook. We'll take that. Let's see what else we got here. Nitro Gaming. We'll take that. 5700X. We already know. 5700X is the best deal. Period. We haven't found anything that's better. Maybe that Corsair, that 850X, I'm sorry, 850 watt SFX power supply, that was like $80. That guy is probably one of the better deals too. And maybe I'll do a top 5 best deals I've seen here. Bowflex, I don't like how those feel on your knees. They're not flat, so that's how I feel about the Bowflex. But let's see here. Aspire Go Slim, Full HD laptop, 4070 Super. Hey, I'll click on you. We've been talking about the 4070 Super all day. I might as well click on you. Portable SSDs, I think we're good here. UHD, Hisense U8, okay. So everything I talk about, I'm just gonna add to a list and put it in the thing, so. Alrighty, and we're not gonna click off that way. In case you guys wanna buy it, I'll have an affiliate link that you can click on to help the channel. Insignia 50-inch class F30 series. It's an Insignia, guys. I mean, come on now. There's not a whole lot to say about it, but it does get the job done. You have 3 HDMI ports and 1 is ARC. So hey, you get eARC on this, which is unexpected. So the fact that you do get eARC is great. It is your first port, so bear that in mind. It takes your first port away. But overall, the fact that it has eARC for a 50-inch at $200 is a pretty good deal. I'm not gonna even lie. I mean, it's a TV. It's one of those TVs that you put in a guest bedroom and never use again, but it's still a TV. Alrighty, 4070 Ti Super, $739. It's not really gonna do you much good here. $700 is kind of that price point, but 4070 Ti is going a little bit over. I would say when it comes to the 4070 Ti Super, go ahead and wait till next year when the new generation graphics cards come out, because 1, it'll lower the price of this, and 2, the other one may be around the same price point. It's not gonna be around the same price point, but the other one may be useful. Like for example, the 5070 may be better than the 4070 Ti is what I'm getting at. So you might be able to get the 5070 for the same price point as this. Therefore, don't wait on it. But if you're looking for 4060, 4060 Super, 4070 Super, then it's okay, because the newer cards are coming out with crazy prices. So even if they do come out, it's not gonna affect you in a 4070 Super price point, because it's not gonna matter, right? Because the newer cards are for 4K 240 gaming, but if you're sitting with your 4070 Super at 2K, you're not gonna need the upgrade anyway. Right? Because unless you're talking about trying to go 4K 240, it's not gonna matter to you. But if you're at that 4070 Ti Super price point, you're already flirting with disaster. In other words, you're already flirting with 2K 240, 4K 120. At that point, just wait till next year. You see what I'm saying? Because you're already at the top point of 2K and the low point of 4K. Just wait. Xbox Series S 249, pretty good deal. It comes with 512 gigabyte drive and a controller. It's okay. The 1 terabyte at 348 is stupid, but the 249, I mean, it's okay if you're still trying to go for Xbox Series S. Of course, most people go for the X these days, but bear that in mind, it's okay. Alrighty, Asus ROG Swift 32-inch 4K OLED, 4K 240 hertz panel for $999. Doorbuster. This is a great deal for a 4K 240, but of course, if you're going to get something like this, you might as well have a 4090 or something better to run it. So if you already do have a 4090, if I'm talking to you, then you already know what you want. But getting less than $1,000 for 32-inch 4K 240, as me talking with a 4K 240 OLED right next to me, that's a good deal. I got an open box for $750, but it doesn't happen often. So getting it around the $1,000 price point is pretty normal for a 4K 240 OLED. I'm just being honest. It's pretty normal. Usually you see that all the time when it comes to the 4K 240 OLEDs. I get that some are better than others. And of course, this is a 10-bit panel with a 90-watt USB-C charging, which is great. Now, of course, this can't charge a MacBook. The 100-watt MacBooks can't be charged by that, but still, it's pretty good for anything less than like a MacBook Pro. So it's okay. It's great. Don't get me wrong. It's a really good monitor. It's just that $1,000 isn't anything to write home about because most 4K 240 OLEDs are around this price point. All right, whew, boy, I am dangerous with this stuff. All right, ROG Strix G16. I'm done patting myself on the back, I promise. ROG Strix G16 2024 gaming laptop, 16-inch, full HD, 165 hertz. I mean, it's okay with a 4060. Of course, you'll get the majority of that because, you know, it's 165 hertz with a 4060. I don't know what the power is of the 440 watt max TGP. This is okay. This is actually really good. For 140 watt for a 4060 is pretty good. So you're going to get pretty good frame rate. In most games, you're probably going to hit anywhere between 120 to 144, somewhere in that area. So this is actually a really good laptop. I would recommend this if you're looking for something for Black Friday. If you're talking about the price, the laptop price point, this is actually okay. I don't have anything bad to say about this. 1 terabyte PCIe Gen 4, that's a little low, so you might want to get a new drive in the future. But for right now, this is okay. And it has Wi-Fi 6E, so it's already, you know, if you have Wi-Fi throughout your house, or if you looked at the router section that we just covered, more than likely you're going to have a Wi-Fi 6E to go with it. So the bandwidth is going to be pretty stellar, especially if you're in like an apartment or something. Okay, that's all I'm gonna talk about on that one. 980 Pro 119, that's actually the best deal. To be fair, the other ones were sold in the 990 at 129, so 119 for the 980 is good. You're not gonna notice a difference between the 980 and the 990 Pro. There's no point. So for a gamer. So this one here, it's an okay deal. It's a good deal if we're talking about Samsung. But, you know, of course, it can be beat by a lot of different things, but it won't be beat in reliability. So please bear that in mind. The 980 Pro is one of the greatest NVMe SSDs in the history of NVMe SSDs. Like, it's really good. Like, I've never had a problem with Samsung NVMe SSDs. Like, it's that good. PS1000 XM4s for 198. That's going to be pretty normal. If you have the XM4s, then there's no reason for the XM5s, but the XM5s is on this list, so we might see it here in a second. But the XM4s, you know, for $200, I still have my XM3s, and I love the things. So the XM4s, you know, add a little bit more when it comes to features, but it's not anything to write home about. They're just stellar headphones, you know. I mean, you just kind of bow your head to them. They're really good. And so at $198, that's pretty good, but we haven't seen the XM5s. You might want to just go ahead and go for the XM5s for the dual band and or being able to, you know, connect multiple devices, that kind of thing. iBuyPower Slate 8 Mesh Gaming PC with the 14700F RTX 4070 Super for $1,274. This deal we also saw on Newegg, and this is actually a great deal and it comes with the 4070 Super, which we've been talking about this entire day. So yeah, and this is 16 gigs of RAM with 2 terabyte NVMe. So this is actually a really, really good deal for the price point, as well as the fact that it comes with a 4070 Super. I really like this guy. So if you're looking for a full buy pickup and you don't want to build your own PC, granted, we did literally talk about every single component on Newegg, but if you're looking at buying something, then this is okay. This is actually really good. This is probably one of the PCs that I recommend. Like, somebody had already asked me about what computer should they get. I still recommend this guy and the $1,000 or $1,500 price point. Okay, the WH1000 XM5s. Okay, so they're right here. So they're $298 versus $198. So they're $100 more for the XM5s, and it has 4 beamforming microphones, up to 30-hour battery life. In other words, the microphones on the WH1000 XM5s are better than the XM4s and the XM3s, so please bear that in mind. They're serviceable, but they haven't been the greatest in forever, and they never will be the greatest in forever because they have stellar audio, but the mic is just okay. This one's better than its predecessors, but, you know, it really kind of depends, you know, like if you're going for the WH1000 XM5s, then you know why you're going for it. I don't have to convince you why you should get them. They're great headphones. Like, I literally still have my XM3s. Galaxy tabs. I love the tab. I have the Ultra right under me, and this is what I'm actually using to make sure I don't glitch out on my stream. So the Samsung Galaxy Tab A9 Plus for 64 gigabytes and 2024 version for 149 is a good deal. A good Black Friday deal. It's very useful. It can do a lot of different things. You can use it for looking and reading text off screens. You can use it for streaming capabilities. You can use it for gameplay, all kind of stuff. It's very good for what it is. Now, because of the price point, it's not the greatest because it's only 64 gigs. So please bear that in mind, but it's okay. You know, I would break it to somewhere in that same area as those Fire tabs and stuff like that. I mean, it's okay. It does what you need to. USB 2 hardware. I mean, Android 13, it's okay. Like, it's not the greatest, you know. It's the A9 Plus. It's kind of like that lower one that you kind of give your children and run away. They'll figure it out. They'll be watching YouTube and everything just fine. And if it falls on the ground, who cares, right? It's one of those things. Alrighty, 4070 Ti Super, $70.99. That doesn't really tell us a whole lot. $799 is the price point for that, so it's not anything that's crazy or anything to write home about for this guy. But it is a Black Friday deal, so please bear that in mind. But I mean, 10%, you're not really doing a whole lot. And of course, you're at that 4070 Ti Super price point where I just say wait. 57-inch Odyssey Neo G9 Series Dual 4K UHD 1000R curve is strong, bro. That's some force stuff. That's some force manipulation. That's really, really strong. Very high curvature. So if you go into this, know that it's 1000R. That's way higher than what's typically expected, which is like a 400R or 600R, very slight curve. This one's aggressive. This one is like bend. So please bear that in mind. But $15.99, nobody's going for that. That's looking for gaming and trying to get a deal. Fire HD tab, you know, $84 is going to be the same thing as the price point of the A9 tab that we just looked at. And, you know, Full HD, 64 gig, 3 gigs of RAM. It's okay. You know, not a whole lot to say about it. It's one of those ones you give your kids or just use for, you know, your practical use only. You know, you don't have to use anything fancy for it, but you're not going to game with that, or you're not going to be gaming with that. So please bear that in mind. Loaded, what's up? Govee. So I like this guy. Now, it's not as powerful as I thought it would be, but this is showing against a dark background. So you're going to see that if the background is dull or dark. But overall, it's still really nice. I mean, there's different settings that you can have in the actual app itself, and it's overall a really nice size light. Now, if you're dealing with a person that's shorter, then they may not be able to cover the light, right? So if you put it behind you, right, and somebody is relatively short, then it's a possibility that the light is so tall that you'll still see it. Okay, so please bear that in mind. But if you turn it to the side, it also gives you a really nice, cool look. I don't have a picture of it, but basically we noticed that like yesterday. If you put it to the side and look at it through camera with a blur, it looks really good. So you know, it's not as strong as this makes it out to be. This is a black background, like there's no light here. So this guy is the only light, so it's gonna look this way. But whenever you get it home, if there's a little bit of light, it's not gonna look like this. But for $55, it's still okay. Alrighty, and man, I've literally reviewed like 80 products here. The MSI Katana A17 AI 17.3 inch 240 hertz quad HD gaming laptop with a Ryzen RTX 4070, 64 gigs of DDR5, 2 terabyte NVMe. This guy is loaded to the gills loaded. $15.59, that's a good price. 4070 doesn't matter, depending on how much wattage it can take. And I don't see it. Let me see. Let me look. I don't see it. If you guys see it, then that's great, but I don't see it. So I can't give it a full recommendation because I don't know how much power that graphics card can handle. You know, and that, you know, plays a giant role when we're talking about laptops. But 64 gigs of RAM with an RTX 4070 and a 17-inch QHD is really, really good. So this is a great deal if you're interested in something like this. It's just that I don't know how much power is given to that 4070. So that changes things. But, you know, it's a great laptop just from looking at it and what it has as far as its cooling. Now, it's going to get hot. It's a laptop with a 4070. But so please bear that in mind. But at the same time, it's still a great product. Don't get me wrong. Good deal for the A17. For $1,500, it's a good deal. Alrighty here. LG 45-inch Ultra Gear OLED, 800R. So a little bit, not as aggressive as the other one, but still pretty aggressive. And this is 44.5-inch. This is going to be Ultra WQHD. So this is going to be like 3440 by 1440, somewhere in that price, somewhere in that area. 21:9. Okay, now it has micro lens array, so it looks pretty. OLED pixels, essentially. And let's see what it has on the back here. So it has display, 2 HDMIs, and a USB, my bad, my mind's going blank, I'm sorry, a USB dock, essentially, that you can have multiple USB ports plugged into it. So that's okay. That's not a whole lot more to say about it. It is a 45-inch for $996. It's in that price point where I would just say, don't bother. You know what I mean? It's a little high. It doesn't really give you much of a deal. I would just say, stick to like a 2K240 in the $500 price point if we're talking about 240 hertz, or the like $300 price point if we're talking about 165 hertz, depending on which graphics card you have, mind you. So, this is a bit much. If you're going to go for this, you already know you want it. Strix 1440p, 240 hertz, G-Sync compatible, 99% DCI-P3, 3-year warranty. This is great. Anti-flicker. This is great. Very, very great. Now, of course, it's at that $549 price point, which is the price point of 2K240 these days. So it's not like it's giving you the best deal in the world, but it is an Asus ROG Strix, and most people have those. Like, I really like them. They're really great for 240 hertz, glossy, not matte. So please bear that in mind. So you might have a little bit of reflections here and there, but overall with G-Sync, it's a good deal. But it's not anything I mean, you might be able to get that off Black Friday. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, it doesn't matter. 2K240 with G-Sync at $549 is pretty normal. Asus VivoBook Go, full HD, slim laptop, AMD Ryzen 3, 7320U, quad core processor, 8 gigs of DDR5. Trash. This is trash. It's $200, but it's trash. This is okay if you have anybody less than 15. That's a girl, maybe, or I would take that back. That's not a gamer. If they're a gamer, or I would just say gamer, because it's not a lot, right? 120 gig SSD is nothing. Once you install Windows, it's over. 8 gigs of RAM is nothing. So you're gonna need more storage. You're gonna need more memory. It's not a good deal. Like, I don't care what it says for the price. It's not a good deal. Like, this is trash. Please don't buy this. Alrighty. Okay. Nitro V gaming laptop, i7-13620 processor, last gen, but it's okay. RTX 4050, so you're not gonna get the most out of it. Well, 4050 is okay. It's just that it's not super powerful, but it's also not super power hungry. So it may not get as hot as some of the other laptops. And it doesn't have to push much because we're talking about full HD, 144 hertz. So you might get a pretty good amount of that. Like, depending on the game you play, you might get around 100 FPS. Like, if we're talking about Overwatch, you might get 100 to 120 on a 4050. Like, Overwatch doesn't require much, and so, or Team Fortress, stuff like that. But if we're talking about like COD, it may bring this guy to his knees, maybe 70, 60 if you're lucky. 16 gigs of DDR5, 512 gig SSD. Still, that's a no. You're going to have to upgrade the SSD on that. Wi-Fi 6 is good, but 749 is also good. So at that price point, just get a new SSD and you'll be fine. Alrighty, let's see here. Yeah, and we're talking about that one. All right, moving on. 5700X, $130. This is a good deal. Now, please bear in mind, there's a better deal at Newegg. So Newegg has the better deal on that, the 5700X right here. This was our best deal of the century because this one actually came with 32 gigs of RAM. So it's good, yes, but it just gets trounced by this guy because this guy is just better. It's just straight better. So this guy here is $145 with $100. So was it 145 or 140 plus or minus $100? So 140 minus $100. This is a different price point than what it was before. It said it was a $54 price point. Now it's saying 100. I'll let it have it. I'll let it have its day in the sun. But essentially, it's about a $70 for the 5700X because you get the promo plus the $100 in memory, or $57 in memory, whatever you're going to call it. But overall, this is a better deal, obviously, than the Amazon deal we were just looking at, which is what, right here. So, you can get it from Amazon if you want to, but if you already have memory, then there's no point in getting more memory unless you have a full-size ATX motherboard and you want to populate all 4 slots. Because remember, if we're talking about a 5700X, it's okay to populate all 4 slots because we're talking about DDR4. If we're talking about the 7600X, which is DDR5, then it is not okay. I repeat, it is not okay to populate all 4 slots. Instead, only populate 2. Alrighty, and so moving on here, 850 Corsair 850X fully modular ATX power supply, 80 plus go, $100. This is fine. It's fine, and the only reason why it's fine is because it gets beat by its own power supply at Newegg, which is the 850 watt gold SFX, right? So you can get the 850 watt gold Corsair on Black Friday. Where is it at? Where'd it go? So the V8, no, I did put in SFX, didn't I? That isn't what I was looking for. Where are you at? Oh, well, you can get the, okay, well, this is one of them. That may be save $10 off, lowest price, $30 promo. This is good. So we'll go with this. So V850 SFX Gold ATX3 fully modular. So it's not anything to write home about. This guy here is already $99. And then also the SFX one was also $99. So it gets beat by its own market. If we're talking about Black Friday and you're looking for power supplies, I'd probably go to Newegg over Amazon. But if you're trying to get it all from one location, then Amazon is okay. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's okay. It just gets beat by its own Corsairs. Like Newegg's cheaper. It just is for that one. And on top of that, it's a smaller form factor, so you can use it in multiple builds, whereas this one is ATX and it won't limit you. So if you try to go for something smaller in the future, you may have to get a different power supply, whereas if you had the SFX, it wouldn't matter. Alrighty, 4070 Super 589. We already talked about the 4070 Super in ad nauseum. And I think the one that we had already recommended earlier was 489. Let me make sure. I think I kept the tab open. Eesh, where'd it go? We got too many tabs. This is my life. Searching through tabs. Yeah, 4070 Super 589. So, and this is the Zotac Gaming. So Amazon also has a deal too. So you might be able to get a full build with Amazon and 4070 Super 589. So what I told you is the same. Nothing has changed here. Even at Amazon, you're still going to be looking at 589. Like you're not going to get any cheaper than that. Alrighty. Ultra Gear QHD 34-inch, HDR10, 160 hertz FreeSync. This guy is okay for $239. It's not giving you anything crazy. It's not taking away anything crazy. You know, it's okay. 3440 by 1440p. So it's a 2K monitor. And, you know, plug in a display cable and off you are to the races. Of course, you know, it's HDR10, but please don't use HDR. Don't be crazy. You just shouldn't use HDR with that. Now, it does have FreeSync, which is okay. But $239 for this is a really good deal. So the price point is good and the hertz is good. So I would say this is an okay deal overall, especially if you're looking to save some money and just want a monitor to do exactly what it does, which is monitor. All right, last one here on Amazon, Hisense U8. U8, great monitor. This is actually a real thing. So Hisense U8 for $897, 1440 hertz, a 65-inch. This is great, especially it works pretty well as a gaming monitor, even at 65 inches, because you can kind of sit a little bit further away and then game from it or game from a couch. So, you know, at that price point, it's okay. It can get beat by some of the others, like the C3, for example, some of the older models, like from LG. But overall, it's still a pretty good one. Plus, this is ULED and the C3 is OLED. So please bear that in mind. But overall, still really good at 144 hertz. It's really nice. And it's pretty bright at 3000 nits. So it's not a bad Black Friday deal if you're looking for a television, especially something that can also game. Alrighty, that was Amazon. We're gonna move on to Costco. Let's see what Costco has here. Is this all Black Friday? Yeah. All right. So I don't know why it automatically goes to TVs when I click on Costco. Early Black Friday deals. Click. While supplies last. Click. Okay, so that wasn't me. It just takes me to TVs. Why does it automatically take me to TVs? You don't have any gaming or anything? Okay. All right, we'll do a quick TV montage. So that is an off-brand processor. So I'm not, you know, sold on it. It's just a really good deal for a big size TV at 50 inch. Well, 50 inch I wouldn't even consider big. It's okay. 65 inch, this is better. At $429, it's a bit pricey. You might be able to get something a little bit cheaper elsewhere. Buy where? I would say Walmart. This is the frame. So if you're talking about the frame doesn't follow these rules. The frame is in its category because the frame is meant to look pretty on a wall and it's not really meant to do anything as far as gaming or just TV in general. It can game and TV, but it can be beat by every single TV known to mankind in quality. It's meant to literally be a frame, but can also double as a TV. So please bear that in mind. Its price point will reflect as such. It's not the greatest price point for what you get unless you factor in the frame part of it. So that's what it is. So if you're buying this, you're buying it because it is a work of art and not because it's a television, is what I'm getting at. 75 inch, old QLED, 60 hertz. Not using this for any type of gaming, but I'm not signing in to find out what that price is. Costco deal, direct deal, online only for 85 inch frame, $3,000. That's not a deal. More frame stuff. 55 inch Q60D. This isn't a real, all of these aren't real brands. They're not real model numbers. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Big and decent, but not for a main living room TV, more like a bedroom TV or a guest bedroom TV. Is what I would say with some of these other ones. OLED S95D, obviously that's a real one, but that's at $3,500. Frame again, and Q60D for $1,499. I mean, this is okay, especially for 85 inch. Now, to be fair, I bought a 100 inch for like $1,600, which was crazy. I think it may have been 2,000, but it is Hisense U8 100 inch. U76. It's this guy. This is the one that I bought. I would still say this is the better deal in history. I love this thing. So Hisense U76, 4K, UHD, QLED, $17.99, 100-inch. 100-inch. Now, please bear in mind, this thing is freaking huge and it weighs a ton. So if you are trying to take it upstairs, you're gonna need help. So you're gonna get, mine came with free installation. This one comes with a free item, but it doesn't come with free installation. Mine came with free installation because I wasn't lifting that thing. I'm too old for all that. But it is huge to get upstairs. So please bear that in mind. So if you are gonna get it, it's best to try to get it downstairs. If you're trying to get it upstairs, you're gonna need help. There's no way you can lift that guy going upstairs, you'll die. So, but overall, it's still a great monitor. I love it very, very much. I use it upstairs. It's huge. It's great picture, everything. So I really like this monitor and it beats everything. Literally, it beats everything. 100-inch, $1,800 beats everything. There's nothing that, like, if we go back to Costco and we look at this guy, that is a, what were we looking at? 85-inch. This right here, QLED, 60 hertz, $14.99. It beats this. Like, it beats it on Black Friday. It beats it on Tuesday. It beats it on Cyber Monday. It beats it on Passover. It beats it on Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever. It beats it. Just 24/7 beats it. So I wouldn't, that's why, you know, some of these TVs here, the U76 is just better. Just overall better. So yeah, you know, and on top of that, it's bigger. So yeah, so Costco TV sales, they're okay, you know, a lot of frame deals, but you know, if you go into it looking for the frame, then you're looking for the frame because it's art, not because it's a television. And then the rest of it is just the rest of it. Just go for the U76 if you're asking my personal opinion. If you're looking for something that's big and bulky, that is 100-inch and a good screen, U76. Alrighty, Walmart. We haven't looked at Walmart yet. I think Walmart's our last one. Oh, we said we'll do Staples. So we'll take a look at Staples and see if they have anything fancy, but I don't think they do. Black Friday deals for Walmart. Okay. So we'll just go through the list here. Let's see. A pack and play. Nobody cares. 128 gigs. I don't even want to click on it. It's a restored MacBook Air i5 with 128 gig. It's nothing. But you know, if you have a mom, maybe, I don't know if I'd even give this to my mom because it's restored. So that means that you might be her tech support. So I don't know if I really would do that even for a parent. $299 for this. I'm not even gonna entertain it. I see 8 gigs right there. It's nothing. Beats Studio, $159. They're gonna vary in price point, but Beats is Beats. There's nothing to really talk about that we haven't talked about earlier. Vizio, 4K. That's not terrible. But you know, it's not gonna be a decent processor or anything. So this is the Nintendo Switch Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Bundle for $50 off for $299. That's a good deal. But this was the same deal last year, so please bear that in mind. This hasn't changed. This is the exact same deal. So let's see here. Clothing. Not my niche. Not my Pokemon cards. Not my niche. Let's see. Restored Apple iPad. I don't like restored, especially if Walmart's the one doing it. So we're just gonna skip all that. Oh, computer chair. It looks okay for a Rocker Apex PC gaming chair for $100. Of course, it's going to be stiff because it's, well, $100, but it is what it is. I'm not even going to entertain you. What? Okay, I'm just going to pretend like I didn't see that. Don't go to Walmart for a PS5, please. For the love of God, go literally anywhere else. But mostly because it's $379 if anybody didn't catch my drift. The PS5 is $379 at Amazon, Target, anywhere else not named Walmart. Oh, I'll entertain you. Okay, we'll go to like 5 because a lot of it is going to be, you know, Walmart stuff. Trash. I like this controller, but it's only like $1 off, so it's nothing to write home about. 4, let's see, 4, nothing, oh, no. A 720p projector, 120 ANSI lumens, that's dark. This is trash. The reason why it's trash because it's not bright. It's not bright enough to do anything. Unless you're in a dark room, this is trash. So I would say no to that. Ooh, I think I may have taken my, oh no, I didn't, okay. My tab, that's what I was thinking. 65-inch for $228. I'll entertain you. Canon EOS R5 mirrorless, I'll entertain you. And HDMI cable for $10, no. Ooh, Switch Pro console, 49 on the, okay, that's good. That's really good. Let's see if I see anything else. 74 PS5, no one cares. Okay, so we did 5 pages, that's fair. $50 for Spider-Man 2, bear that in mind. You save $39.99. Oh, it's $30 on November 25th. So let me look at this early access thing. So it looks like $30 on November 25th. So bear that in mind. Spider-Man 2, $30 for the PS5. And let's see here. Oh, you know what? We should probably look at the consoles to see if there's a difference or see if there's any kind of discounts. We'll do that here in a second. Vizio, 75-inch 4K for $478. Now, this isn't going to be the best TV in the world. Please bear that in mind. It's not a real model. Oh, VK, whatever this crap is, that's not real. So this is a bin processor, so it's not going to be great as far as video quality is concerned, but it is 75-inch at $500. So please bear that in mind. That's good. It's not going to be great quality, but it is good. What about the HDMI ports? Does it show? Yeah, it does. So you do get one ER port for HDMI 1, and then you have 2 more HDMI ports. So overall, cool. You also get an SPDIF out, so that's cool. Or in. Alrighty, and Nintendo Switch Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Bundle for $299. That's pretty normal. It goes to $249 on November 25th. Ooh, that's nice. This is the best Nintendo Switch deal I've seen. So I'll give you that. So Nintendo Switch, $249 on November 25th, Black Friday. This is the best deal for Walmart. I'm gonna go ahead and crown it. It's probably the best deal. Okay, that and the controller, the Switch controller. So these two are probably gonna be your best deals for Walmart. I'll crown it. $249 November 25th. If you want to do that and you want to go through the line and do that problem, then you can get $50 off on the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Bundle. If it doesn't matter, then don't worry about it. Black Friday X Rocker Apex PC Gaming Chair. This is okay, but it's not going to be the most comfortable. You know, I get that I'm talking from a different place because I have literally this guy behind me, but yeah, it's okay. You know, it's $100. It's okay for if you're just starting out and you just need a chair. It's okay. But I think Costco has a better deal on chairs. So we'll get to that one here in a little bit. I don't know who Kurui is. 34-inch Ultra Gaming Monitor, HDMI port. So it doesn't show what the refresh rate is. Oh, yes, it is. 165, 2K, 269. This is okay. I don't like, okay. So there are brands that are outside of the normal brands that we know of in the US that also have good products. It's just that their warranty isn't great. So I would rather pay a few dollars extra and get a product with a warranty within the United States. I get that some of these products aren't United States products, but well-known brands, and just deal with their warranty, then deal with an offshoot brand and their warranty. Does that make sense? So it may be cheaper, but it may not be the better deal. Like I may pay an extra $50 in order to get an Asus or an LG or something along those lines, instead of going for something like this because it's not a brand anyone knows. But I mean, is it a good deal? Yeah, I'll give you that. TCL 65-inch Class S4, not a brand. 65S4 1BR, not a brand as in this isn't a real model number. This is a bin model number for a processor that they're just using for Black Friday. So it's not gonna be the best quality. It's a Roku TV. So it has Roku built in, so that's cool, but it's going to be slow because it's going to be slowed by the processor. So I wouldn't even use it. To be honest with you, if you want my personal opinion, I would never use the Roku TV on a bin processor TV that you got for $200 on Black Friday. It's just too slow. If you're trying to compare, you're trying to do this like with a girlfriend or something like that, it's going to be stupid. Like it's going to be a waste of time. Like just get a Fire TV, plug it into it. It's going to have a better processor than this. Alrighty, EOS Rebel 50 mirrorless vlogging camera. Whoa, 4K, good job, Canon going 4K. 45 millimeter, 4.5 to 6.3. This is okay. Now it's 18 to 45, which means that you can use it as a vlogging camera. It does have a flip out screen, so it flips out to the front. It's not really anything that you can write home about because it's not like it's actually a deal. It's just the price of it. You know, it can get beat out by a lot of things by Sony because it's a little bit lighter. So if you like lighter cameras, then this may not be the guy that you want to go for. I would say the ZV-1F, Sony ZV-1F, ZV-1F. Yeah, something like this, you know, a little bit cheaper, but a better vlogging camera overall. Now, of course, it can still do 4K just like the other one, but it's a little bit like, well, I'm sorry, its resolution is 1080p. I'm sorry, ZV-1. They have a lot of ZV ones. ZV, well, okay. That was 4K, but I'm starting to go through this and I'm starting to think like, why would you need anything stronger than 1080p? So if we're talking about like ZV, well, actually, you know what? I'll stick with this. I'll stand on that. I'll stand on that. The reason why, even though it's 1080p, I get that. But at the same time, if you're doing a stream, it is going to be 1080p. So it's not like it's, you know, it's a big jump or a lower jump. Plus you save a couple dollars or a couple $100 going with something like this. And on top of that, you know, it has a decent mic. And it's not the best in the world, but you know, you do have a, that's probably not what I wanted to do. You have some noise dampening on my dead cat. You have a dead cat on top of it that also helps with that. So, you know, for a vlogging camera, it's actually pretty good. So ZV-1F is probably what I would recommend if you're looking for just a vlogging style camera. The only reason why we went to that is because the other guy was saying vlogging camera too, and you wouldn't go 4K for a stream unless, you know, we're talking about next year when, you know, Twitch goes to 4K. If Twitch goes to 4K. Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Yeah, getting $49 for this guy, I'd bust down the door for that because this controller is $8,000. So to get it for $49 is a pretty good deal. It's only $10 more than the $39 controller that they usually sell everywhere. So yeah, getting that for $49 is great. Absolutely great. Acer Nitro 27-inch 1080p. I'm not gonna be too good on 1080p because, you know, you're gonna get 180 hertz, true, but at the same time, it's not really gonna be utilizing your graphics card at all. So if you buy like a 4060 or a 4070, you know, it's a little overkill for something like this, you know, so I wouldn't go for it. But $100, you know, it makes for a great second monitor too. Alrighty, and that is Walmart. Alrighty, so let's see here. Okay, so Staples, early holiday deals, beat the rush. We want to look at computer chairs. Let me see. Staples, shop deals. Am I still streaming? Just making sure. Okay, yeah, I'm still streaming. Just making sure. Okay, so deals. Well, Staples isn't really showing me anything. Staples, Black Friday. I gave you a chance, Staples, and you let me down. Now, I don't think Staples have a Black Friday. Oh, early holiday deals. Okay, so all they have is laptops. I'm not really gonna go over them. I've talked about laptops ad nauseum at this point. I was just seeing they had computer chairs. They don't. Oh, Costco. What was Costco's computer chairs? We were talking about that earlier. So he said he got a mesh. Okay, so it's the True Innovations mesh office chair is the one that he was talking about. So this guy here for $119 is the one that he was saying he went with because it's mesh. So it's a little bit more comfortable than most $100 chairs. So if you are gonna go with a chair, the Costco one has been given great reviews on it. And then we've had somebody in chat say that this is better. So, hey, you know, if you got two people confirming that this is actually a really good chair, then this is a good chair. So I would say if you're trying to just starting out and you need a computer chair, I would go the True Innovations mesh office chair. It seems people are kind of proud of this guy. So, hey, that's good. Good job, Costco. Alrighty, and I think we'll call it there. I think we just hit the 2-hour mark, so I think we're good. I've covered every single one, and I've covered every single deal. I may do like a top 5 deals that I've seen kind of thing, but I don't think I've missed anyone. So that is every single store's Black Friday. We talked about gaming. We talked about every component of a PC. We talked about every component of a gaming console. We talked about, well, games. Okay, that we haven't talked about, but games I talked about on a stream. But let's see here. Let me go. Oh, my PlayStation controller's over here. Hold on. Is this one gonna power it on? I guess we'll find out. Yes. Well, I take it back. No, it didn't. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. New PS5 Pro. It takes a second. Okay. There we go. All right. Oh, now it wants to work. Whatever. PlayStation Store. Let's go ahead and hit this up and see. It does have Black Friday. Let's go ahead and click on it. Oh, see y'all. Alrighty. So their Black Friday, Spider-Man 2, we saw it at $30 already, so it's not anything new. Madden 2025, we saw Madden at $30, so it's gonna be around the same price point as we already saw previously. What game is that? Why did it go away? Oh, Star Wars Outlaws. No comment. Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy is a really good game, especially for $20. Hogwarts Legacy is probably one of the best games I've seen. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that probably one of the best deals I've seen in this side of town. Hogwarts Legacy is a really good game. I love that game. Astrobot. Astrobot for $50 for the PS5 version is really good. Astrobot is just a good game overall. It's like a Mario game. Baldur's Gate, any discount on Baldur's Gate is going to be excellent because Baldur's Gate is excellent. Silent Hill, also a good game. You know, so Final Fantasy Rebirth, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, a lot of these are, you know, like 7 Rebirth, you know, $40. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth has been around a lot, so they got twin packages, deluxe packages. It's a lot going on. $40 Dragon's Dogma, good. Destiny, 8,000 packs. I'm not even going to go into it because it's just, I'm so tired of Destiny, and there are 3,000 packs. Metaphor Refantasio. I heard this is a really good game, but I haven't had a chance to play it. Cyberpunk for $25, good deal. Grand Theft Auto, $14 for this version, good deal. For PS4 version, for PS5 version is $20. Space Marine for $55, Space Marine, excellent game. Phantom Liberty, I mean, it's Phantom Liberty. Diablo 4 with the expansion bundle for $45 is a good deal. Now, I mean, Vessels of Hatred is a little bit better than the original expansion, because I mean, I didn't really like it because it just didn't do a whole lot for me, but you won't run into that problem because if you buy it now, it won't matter. So I would say this right here, this deal is actually a pretty good deal because the Vessels of Hatred was already $30 or $40. I think I paid $40 for mine. So Helldivers, good game. Mortal Kombat 1, good game. They're all going to be in that. Oh, Mortal Kombat 1 being $20 though is pretty good. Let's see. Ronin, Rise of Ronin, $30. Red Dead Redemption, any deal on Red Dead Redemption is obviously great. For $20 is excellent. Ragnarok, I already purchased, so I can't see it. You already know it's good. Sea of Thieves, I know it's had some problems in the past, but you know, $20 for a game is still a pretty good deal. Jedi Survivor, excellent game. Oh, I wouldn't say excellent. It's a good game. It's a good game, borderline great game, right? You know, you can't really do a whole lot with his upgrades, but overall it's good. He just gets a lot of new weapons. Last of Us 2, I don't know how I feel about that game anymore. It's okay, I guess is the best way I look at it. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, I heard it was pretty good. So $27.99 with the PS Plus pass, so there is that. A lot of sim stuff. Okay, so we're starting getting towards the bottom here. Assassin's Creed Valhalla for $10 and Lies of P for $35. But please bear in mind, Lies of P is available for the Xbox Game Ultimate Pass. So if you have an Xbox, it's better just to get it for free with the Game Ultimate Pass than it is to get it for the PS5 or PS4. I don't care what it is for. It's better just to stream it with the Xbox Game Ultimate Pass. Cuphead's always cheap. Fallout 4 Game of the Year, $15, that's okay. Dark Souls 3, excellent game. Of course, I've obviously played all Souls-like. Excellent game. Though I don't know if I'd go a deluxe edition. Battlefield is Battlefield. $15 for that. That's for the upgrade, so you have to get the 2042 first. Now, this is included in your PS5 membership, so please bear that in mind. Final Fantasy 16 Complete Edition with the bros go do bro stuff. That's always good. I think that's the bro one. I'm pretty sure it's the bro one, where you know, it's literally bro code kind of thing. And Destiny 2 is Destiny 2. Ermac and Homelander. Let's see, not too much else going on here. Most of these are just DLC packs, and I think the rest are just DLC packs, so we'll just go ahead and call it there. Do I have the Switch hooked up? No, my Switch is upstairs. So what we'll do is for the Switch and the Xbox, I may just do one on Monday for those, or Sunday, Monday, you know, when I do my regular stream. So, but I think I've covered everyone. I don't think I've missed a single person. So I'll go ahead and edit this video up and get this for everybody. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. And if you like this video, go to the like button. If you really like it, go to subscribe. I love you either way. Take care, all the best, and bye. I will see you next time. Peace.